It's an all-new season for the Patriots.
Wow.
And you'll hear it all right here.
Yes.
Your home of the Pats. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox got swept out of their own building over the weekend by Houston. The fun concluded with a 10-2 loss yesterday that left them 3 games out of a playoff spot. Alex Bregman and Yordan Alvarez hit back-to-back homers as part of a 5-run fifth inning that ended the suspense for the day, and that's not even the worst news of the afternoon. Sox lefty James Paxton left after 5 pitches in the top of the first inning.
Felt like I got kicked in the calf, and then I kind of turned around, took another step, and I felt it again. And I was like, oh, it's not good. It's my calf. I felt it pop.
He'll have an MRI today. The Red Sox play Texas tonight. Duran and the team also issued apologies after the game after microphones caught him using an anti-gay slur towards a fan in the 6th inning. Also, the team has promoted the top 3 prospects in the organization, Marcelo Mayer, Roman Anthony, and Kyle Teal, to AAA Worcester. Turning to the Patriots, they held a season ticket holder only practice in Foxborough yesterday. Jonathan Jones among the missing for the first time. Marcus Jones also absent. Tight end Hunter Henry appeared to suffer a leg injury and didn't finish. The team will practice again today at 11. And the 2024 Summer Olympics came to a close in Paris last night, but not before the U.S. won one more gold medal. The women's basketball team held off France 67-66. Overall, the U.S. won an event leading 126 medals and tied China for the most gold medals with 40. The Summer Games will be in L.A. in 4 years. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, now open in Franklin, Billerica, and Peabody. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston, the greatest sports town in America.
We have a farm. I have about 200 pigs here.
We get to spill beers on each other without worrying about spilling beers on people.
Boston's home for sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Loopity up with a football.
98.5 The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
And that's why you're seeing those beautiful tears of a man whose heart is bursting. Iker Casillas. Will you stop talking about tennis players and stupid Hollywood actors, Phil? It's the gladiators out there, man, not tennis players. Tom Cruise. Break. If you smelt a soccer jockstrap, he'd faint dead away.
Off to the far side. It's knocked. And a throw in for Real.
Talking of gladiators.
Reiss picked up.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Isaac's here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey there.
Isaac's headed back to Hofstra soon, where he lives with his grandma.
Say my name.
Only 15 minutes from the Hofstra campus. He moves in with his grandma. He is there, but he's got a internship in the city, in New York City. Did you guys know
Hi,
that about Isaac?
I'm Isaac.
What is the thing?
I mean, a lot's being said about how much I talk to people and how much I know. Did you guys know that Isaac's got an internship in New York City?
Did not know that.
He's got an internship in Waltham. I know about that.
Yeah. So it seems like I win the day again. Good for me.
Fred spoke to a human person. Let's all congratulate him and tell him how great he is.
Oh, I don't want to be congratulated. I just want this on the record for the next time there's sass.
Okay.
You guys have sass. No, it's not so much John.
He spoke to the intern and learned something.
Yeah.
Don't act like Hardy, John. Be yourself. Don't
Say my name.
Don't fall into his pit of narcissism.
Welcome back, Wallach.
Good to see you, fellas. How is everybody?
Oh, are you a sight for sore eyes?
Yeah. By the way, this hour of Toucher and Hardy is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Look at John Wallach on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. Where'd you go, John? Tell everyone you're
Falmouth,
gone.
Fred. Went to Falmouth.
You were gone for a whole week.
Yep.
And John was in Falmouth, Massachusetts. And how many people were you with?
8 other people and me. Yeah. 9 people in one house for 7 days.
Now, who were the people?
My sister and her family, sister and brother-in-law, her 2 daughters, myself, my wife, my 2 kids, and my mother.
Okay. And did everyone get along?
I would say the first 3 days were great. We hadn't seen each other for a while, and then after the first 3 days, we realized we still had 6 more to go.
Doesn't your sister live far away?
Yes. My sister lives in Europe. She lives in Luxembourg.
And she's always lived kind of far away, not always, obviously, but since I've known you, she's lived far away, right?
She's been there 15 years, yeah.
Okay, so so it's got to be you only see her what, like once a year?
Once, twice a year.
Yeah,
Like that.
so it's probably very nice to see her at first.
Yes.
And then how old's your mom?
82.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, my parents are 81.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Not much of a conversationalist at that age.
It's like, you know what, Mom? I'm going to take the kids. We're going to go play miniature golf.
Yeah.
We're going to go, there's a great ice cream place up the road.
Yeah, like if I come to my mom with a minor issue, like not with her, right? Like just in my life, because I talk to her now twice a week. I used to talk to her more. And she doesn't say anything where I have to stop myself from snapping. It's a victory for everybody. Because I'll go like, Mom, like da-da-da is happening.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't say something completely out of left field or something completely inappropriate, it's like, yeah. That was a quality conversation. Like there's this situation with like money in schools, like Milo could go to this one school, but we've already paid for this other school, and my mom was like, what's going on? And so like I started telling her, I'm like, oh, why am I telling her? And then she like actually was like on point and like da 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 da. And at the end of the call, I'm like, Mom, thank you very much for being a sounding board today.
But at the same,
and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm not totally stupid. I'm not all the way senile. But I'm like, all right, Mom, let's not do the victory lap. All right, go ahead.
At the same time, you get to day 4 and 5, and then there's the explanation. You're asked to explain things that take 5, 6, 7 minutes, but it feels like 40.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, so what happened here? What the kids are going back to school? What classes do they have? How come you don't know yet? And well, there's a portal that is active. And then it feels like forever.
Yeah, you said portal, which is opening up a whole can of worms, because then that has to be described.
Yes.
And I'm getting to the age like, well, sometimes my kids will say things that I don't understand, like about the internet, and I know, let it go. Like I don't need to know what they're talking about.
Do you need a password for the portal?
Yeah, that's too
what
much.
Website is it?
Yeah,
is there an app?
It's too much. It's because she's trying to sound like she's on the ball. Like, is there an app? Because she's free associating things on the internet. Like passwords are there, and app. Is it AOL? Is that a situation? Like she's just freestyling everything she can think of.
Yeah,
yeah, that's something else.
9 people, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. 9 people.
It's
3 bathrooms.
3 bathrooms. We got
3 full baths.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, the house we were at was actually very, very nice.
You know what? It sounds like a lot, but then I'm remembering.
No, it doesn't sound like a lot. It sounds like not much. for 9 people?
No, I'm saying 9 people sounds like a lot, but we did a week back in February with 8 of us, and it was fine. You know, as long as there is the opportunity to get away, literally, to like just walk away from the situation and go somewhere else.
There
for a
was
while.
a beach about 250 yards from the house, so it was easy to kind of walk down there.
Yeah, but I've been there too. But then, but then you got to come back. Carrie, go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. I just had a quick question. I kind of wanted to circle back here for a second, more for John. You mentioned that your and Fred's moms were like the same age within a year apart. I was just wondering, John, did your mother have you? Was she in high school when you were born? I'm just wondering.
Yes, what was up with your mother? Why was she so loose?
Yeah.
I just can't believe that you guys are that close, that you can have mothers that close in age where your age gap is.
It is true.
My mother was much younger when she had me.
Yeah, his mother was a real irresponsible lady, I'll tell you that.
Early 20s when she had me.
Hachi-machi. It was different times, though, Carrie. It was the Depression. And you have to understand.
I was going to say, I wondered. Well, she must have been kind of hot, huh?
Still is, baby.
Oh,
Still is.
Yeah, you better believe that she's hot. Yep. She's got perfect tune-in Tokyo knockers. Very good.
It's too bad she probably put her on a plane yesterday. She could hear this.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd care. So she had you when she was in her early 20s?
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Were you are you the oldest?
Yes.
Were you an accident?
No.
Your parents wanted to have a kid that young?
Yes.
Huh. And they only had 2?
Yep. My sister is 3.5 years younger than me. I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh, boy. Wow. That's a lot, John.
Yes.
So they were only in like their 30s while you were playing Dungeons and Dragons in the basement.
I know, it's amazing. It's true.
Can
I join in?
My mom turned 80 this year, so she was late 20s. It was my dad, who was 7 years older than my mom. He was the one that was like absurdly old to be getting married and having kids when he was 32, I think.
Oh, boy.
You know, that's when they got married, and my older sister was born, because he was one of 4 kids, and like all of my cousins growing up were much older than me, because his younger brothers and sister all married and we were having kids before he was even married.
Yeah.
So
a different
it was
time.
a different time.
A much different time, yes.
Yeah, there was, I know in OC and Stigs, there is this reference to like girls whose fathers are in their 80s that are like in like high school or college, and they're called sluts to boxcar, and because they have tremendous daddy issues, is the idea of the National Lampoon, then Robert Altman movie, which is not very good. But I had a friend in college whose dad was super rich, and he was like 80, and the wife was like 40, and they had and my friend was born. And so he came to college, and there would be parents' weekend, and you'd be like, "Dear Lord," yeah, like, oh my goodness, like, I mean, like his dad was legit 80 or 78 while we were in college, like it was like his 4th wife.
Well, are you old for like some of your kids' peer groups? Are you a little on the older side compared to some of their parents?
No, in fact, I'm younger. When everyone in the neighborhood, I was probably right in the middle, because people who had older kids and like the youngest was with my kids, I was younger than some of them. Yeah, I'm younger than a lot of them, because a lot of them are in their 50s, like early 50s. Isn't that strange? People are waiting longer to have children. Because we had Milo somebody got pregnant with Milo when she was 30, right? 31, she had him. And then what is that? He's 16. I don't know, 32, maybe 32, whatever. Not, but respectable age. Wait until this new round of kids starts coming out for me. Then it will be something. Then when the kids in college, I'll be the old guy Wait,
like David Letterman, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a whole thing. I'll be. You wait until this new batch of kids comes out. It's gonna be something else.
It'd be great. Your stories of changing diapers in your 60s. Be great.
I remember
when you're that old, you age how to change diapers, John. I don't have to do that.
I remember you saying that like years ago in jest. Doesn't seem all that funny now about how with your next family. I mean, when you have kids with your next family, I couldn't even begin to imagine what it would be like to have a newborn again.
It would be glorious. I told you I never had a vasectomy because one of the great things I can bring to a woman is the idea of carrying on my lineage.
But you're not lying about that. You said that years ago.
No, I'm not lying about that.
Like, and so you would consider that?
Oh, sure.
Oh,
really?
God. Oh, God.
The night feedings at like 3:30 in the morning.
Lockhart is younger than all of us. Lockhart, could you imagine having newborns again? There's like no
two
way.
Thumbs down on that.
There's
Not a
no
chance.
way.
Nah, I agree.
Well, I have no intention of getting married again anytime soon, so we'll see. But I mean, listen, if it happens, it happens. I mean, I don't know what you guys are insinuating. If I get a girl pregnant, if you want to sin.
What I'm insinuating is
you're saying Plan B.
No, I'm saying I can't imagine having a newborn.
Oh, it would be glorious. Ben, go ahead.
Freddie, baby.
Hello, Benjamin.
Shout out to Twitch Nation on the YouTube. Shabbat Shalom, Freddie.
Thank you to say it to me and not the other guy.
Well, I was going to ask, Wallach, what did you do when the rest of the family celebrated Shabbos and went to temple and didn't use electricity? What did you do during that period?
Great question.
You know what he was? I can tell you. He was the goy that could turn on the oven and turn on the lights. He was the hired gun. Because Benjamin, some Jewish families do that. They have like a goyim in home that can actually operate the electricity. Were you that person?
No, I was.
Could you imagine seeing a naked Wallach running to jump into a mikveh? I mean, come on now.
All right, very good, Benjamin. Yeah, are they still practicing Jews?
Shomer Shabbat?
They are not. No, Friday nights we do not do that.
No, he doesn't do anything.
No.
Okay.
And Shabbat Shalom on a Monday. Come on.
Did your sister marry Goyim?
Yes.
Your mother dates a guy, right?
Excuse me?
Does your mother date a guy?
No.
Oh, she doesn't. She did, though, right?
She was married again.
Yeah. Was he a Goyim?
Yes.
Gee.
It's a full heel. It's a full heel turn, Fred. A full heel turn, not just me.
Oh, Gavalt. I don't know what.
Oh, you thought it was just me? Oh no, it's everybody.
Wow, you guys really don't like Jews. I don't know what it is about that religion then, because it got you guys going so crazy. All right. Well, congratulations, John. I'm glad you got through the week. It's very exciting. And don't be too jealous, but Labor Day weekend, I will be at my parents' house without my kids. I'll be there, just me and my parents.
Sweet. That sounds like a good time.
It could go either way.
Yes.
If they leave me, I'll have a lot of time to myself.
It could be super chill. It might be the most relaxing vacation you've had in a long time.
If you park the jet ski wrong, it could go the other direction. Yeah.
Something has to go
Why
wrong.
don't you connect
for them
the
to get
battery
involved.
this time, stupid? So you don't have to call Craig.
His name's not
Is
Craig.
that guy's name? Is it Craig?
No, it's Jeff.
Jeff. That's right.
Same thing.
Jeff Craig.
No, Jeff gets called a lot, and then Jeff will show up with like a $12,000 bill, like after not charging.
I thought he was just helping.
I did too. He doesn't do it for free. He doesn't help out.
No, the guy who was wrong about it, Jeff. Yeah. Jeff is the guy who built their house, and then he does. Believe me, they need Jeff. Jeff's not ripping them off. They need Jeff.
Okay.
No, the guy who and ultimately knew how to fix it and was right was a neighbor. But Jeff is the guy that they put me on the phone with. If you don't know, the jet ski wouldn't work. My dad, of course, flipped out. And there's this guy they call whenever there's a problem in the house. Jeff, who's a builder, and Jeff will come over and he fixes a lot of stuff. He's the one who built the lift for the jet ski out of PVC pipe and wood and stuff. Like he's Hardy. You would have. He flies planes. You would love Jeffrey.
I don't like him charging money though for his services, but whatever.
Let's put it this way: like he'll charge him every 3 years, and he'll drop off a check for $12,000, which is a lot of money. But if you add up like how much he's done, it's really pretty reasonable.
Okay.
Like 3 years of work. Believe me, if I had a problem with Jeff, I would tell my parents. Jeff is very necessary for them. They need Jeff. He does an awful lot.
I'm gonna call him Craig.
All right. We'll be back. There's homophobic slurs. I was at the game yesterday, and the whole park was like, "What just happened?"
Well, the whole park was like, "What did he just yell at you?"
We were like, "Yeah," because I was really giving him the business, and I was making out with this dude, and I'm like, "Hey, I dare you, Duran. You striking out all the time." And then, I was me and this dude. I just started kissing every dude around me. It was a real gay situation, and I baited him into it. I wonder how long that's going to last. We'll read the comments on the Globe too.
That's always fun.
The listeners, the readers.
Let's do that.
It's you like compassion, empathetic narcissism. It's a lot of fun. I'm a hero because I don't like what the bad man did. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Book your summer getaway.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what happened yesterday?
Red Sox taking on the Houston Astros at Fenway Park.
I was there.
No big whoop.
I was there taking in the contest.
I need to consult you about some Red Sox attendance things I have coming up.
There was a lot of people there. There are a lot of Houston fans, but I expected that because they don't come to town all the time.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of people there. It was a pretty full house. I sat pretty close to the seats that I bought. I didn't dare go into the field loge.
Not a lot of movement.
No, I stayed in the front of the box. I didn't go to the field box. I stayed to the loge box, but very low.
By the way, when we went to Metallica a couple of weeks ago, there were a couple of people in our seats because we got there 2 hours and 45 minutes after doors opened, and I can tell my son is growing up because I would say a year ago he would have been mortified when I went up to these people and told him to scram, and instead this time he was like, "Yeah, what were they doing in our seats?" I said, "Exactly, son."
Yeah, and you said, "Hey, these are my seats," and what did the people say?
They said, is this row section whatever? And the band hadn't come on yet. As I said, we got into our seats as Metallica came on, so it was quiet. You could still talk. I said to the row behind us, I said, "This is section whatever, whatever." And they said, "Yep, section." I said, "Yep, right here." And I showed them on the ticket, and they just moved. And I know what they were doing. They probably had 300 level, and they had moved down, which is fine, good. But now it's time to go. Now you got to move.
Yeah.
And my son was not mortified. He was like, yeah, they had to leave. I said, right. I'm not being a dick. It's just those are our seats. So yesterday, the Red Sox were playing the third of three against the Astros. They lost games 1 and 2 of the set, and things didn't get better early on.
Good look here. See. Yeah, it's right when he pushed off to run, but that's what makes me think it might be a calf, because it's right when he steps and goes to push off. What's weird is he looked back like he caught his cleat on something, or he didn't. It was just the push off. Yeah, he's not. Oh, yeah. That's not good.
Man, the third hitter into the game and hobbling off, James Paxton.
Because he stepped off the mound and catastrophic injury.
This is what happens when you chase after a guy who is designated for assignment and is in his mid-30s. This is the healthy rotation.
Should that happen? It happened to me in the pool, but I'm 20 years older than James Paxton, and I had, I was dehydrated and out of shape. And, that was me when I was screwing around with my kid. All he tried to do was walk. Gingerly trot off the mound to make a play over at first.
Yeah, he was going to run over to first base. That's what he did.
So
didn't even get to. There was no running. He just turned.
Were you there that early in the game, Fred?
I was, but I was in line to get something to eat.
Okay,
but,
just watching it on the replay, it looks like nothing. And what did it feel like there, champ?
Felt like I got kicked in the calf.
Ooh.
And then I kind of turned around, took another step, and I felt it again. I was like, it's not good. It's my calf. I felt it pop.
Yeah, that's always good. I felt it pop. I'm sure he'll be back next week.
Yeah, that's not good.
So who was on the broadcast yesterday?
I don't know who was with Dave O'Brien last night.
I don't know either. Whoever was with him, though, said something like, yeah, that happened to me. Or I may have been hearing it on wherever it was. Whoever the analyst was, yeah, that happened to me. And they said, how much time you missed? It was like, 6-8 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, because your calf cramped when you stepped off the mound?
Pitchers are very, very finely tuned individuals.
Jesus. All right, so that puts Alex Cora into a whole different mindset.
But boys, they battle today, guys pitching in different roles and extending them, we had to somehow, some way get 27 outs, right? Obviously, the score is the score, but we were in survival mode from the get-go.
What was that score? 10-2. And the Red Sox are swept by the Houston Astros. And once they were just on the outside looking in, game and a half game out of that wild card spot. Where do they stand now, Mr. Wallach?
They're 3 games out, and unfortunately, the schedule does not get any easier. We were talking about they had the toughest strength of schedule after the All-Star break. They have a breather here, the next 3 games against Texas, but then 4 against Baltimore and then 3 more in Houston. And that's followed by 3 at home against Arizona, and Arizona is the top wild card team in the National League. So the problem is you don't have pitching now. You've blown out your entire pitching staff over the last 2 days because I think it was a bullpen game on Saturday, right? So you don't have a lot of pitching available to you, and the pitchers that you counted upon in the first half have blown through their innings from last year. Houck is way past his. Cutter Crawford's way past his. And I think I was looking at this before I left for vacation. I think Houck has an ERA of close to 5.5 this month. And it hasn't been much lower than 5 since the end of May. So they're in a lot of trouble. But, again, they got us this far. I didn't think they'd get us this far, considering the talent I thought they had. So I guess this would be considered a somewhat successful season, considering how this roster was constructed.
Well, there was that, and then there was the unfortunate incident with Jaron Duran, as he was getting the business from a fan who was telling him use a tennis racket because he was not hitting well, and Duran was overheard shouting a gay slur at the fan, and since then has apologized.
Yes, both he and the team apologized yesterday.
So when that happens, I love to go, I read the article in the Boston Globe, and I love to read the comments, because if you want narcissistic compassion, where people act like they care or empathetic to people that have been slighted just to feel better about themselves, you got it right here. It says, isn't this player a hero to Red Sox Nation? Nice guy. Okay, isn't Duran out of middle school? Yeah, yikes, needs to be suspended. None of the words of this apology are his, constructed by the Sox PR team, far, far from a sincere apology. I like the judging of the apology. That's a big thing. You read that article. Duran said a gay slur to someone in the crowd. You didn't hear it. You didn't know about it. You read it in the paper. And now you've cracked your knuckles and you're getting on the keyboard, and you're going to really let the world have it. None of the world's apology are his, constructed by the Red Sox PR team. Far, far from a sincere apology. He should be ashamed of himself. But he's not, because he's done it before and he'll do it again. He's lost all credibility to me. Thought he was a good kid, too. Wonder who he supports for president.
There it is. Good. Excellent. Good comment.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it's just, let's toss everything in there.
Yeah, no, but bring it back. Always bring it back to politics. Yeah. I love people who do that.
You could break that down into how many ways is this person trying to make themselves feel superior to everyone while not accomplishing or doing anything on their own. Like, they're a hero because, A, they like the right president. B, they're an expert in the sincerity of an apology. By the way, they've really diffused the bomb and figured out they're playing chess while we're all playing checkers. They realize the PR team had something to do with that, and they know that he should be suspended. That would be the proper way to go. That this guy needs to. Me being someone who reads the Globe, I know this guy needs to sit out a few games to really get the message. Jared needs to learn not only to not use certain bad words, but more important, not to respond to fans. There are many who think buying tickets entitle them to act like morons. Some of them probably deserve a beating, but that doesn't mean you have the right to give it to them.
And then there's the comment, it is stupid to call a person a name unless you are alone in your car. And the person who penned that one, Gray Man. Oh, wow. The Gray Man.
Whoa, that's right.
A couple of shots at Spencer on the bridge there.
My goodness.
That guy was scary.
Yeah. Even his affectation.
Did he
very
go
bland.
Did he go after Hawk too, or did he just go after Spencer? And he was hired to go after Spencer.
Well,
it wasn't personal.
There was a problem up on the North Shore during one of the books, and that pitted Spencer and Hawk against the Gray Man. So Gray Man took a couple of shots at him.
Here's another person.
Marshport, that was the name of the
person. Yeah, everyone's getting these references. This is another person that has. They're a little world weary, so they have to. As most people who respond to Globe articles are. Weird. Most people, if they choose to respond at all, would choose different epithets: dummy, s-head, a-hole, etc. Those are the proper ones.
Yeah.
Because this guy, he's been around he's seen a few sunsets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That Duran spontaneously erupted with a homophobic slur shows something deep rooted. I mean, this person has studied the human brain. He knows.
Shut up, you dumb dummy.
Maybe it's just jock culture, but a PR release written by those house flacks doesn't wash the stain off his character. I'm feeling down today. What are you going to do? I'm going to read about everyone who made any mistake in the paper and really let them have it through the comment section. You're pathetic pieces of garbage. And now I love Jaron Duran because of what you said, because of your dumb, compassionate narcissism.
One of the comments mentions something about the Pope using it, and a quick search finds out it was actually twice that Pope Francis has again been accused of using a highly offensive term to describe gay men in a closed-door meeting 2 weeks after the Vatican apologized for his use of the same slur.
Who's narking on the Pope?
Yeah.
In these closed-door meetings.
There's a rat in the Vatican.
Yeah, there is a rat in the Vatican. All right. Well, I mean, we're all wise to it now.
Thank God these people are here to set the record straight.
I mean, but you're wise to it now because, I used to just think they were bored, but now when you do that, you're such a loser. It's so obvious that you're so miserable and you hate yourself, and that the only way that you experience any kind of self-worth is virtue signaling at people and putting yourselves in the shoes of the people that you feel have been affected, and then lashing out, which makes you feel good, but you're lashing out under a pseudonym, so you're not risking anything. There's nothing that you're risking by doing that. You're just throwing words into the ether with not having to stand behind them and with no responsibility, and this is how you gain your self-esteem. F you. Go to hell. I mean, it's so pathetic. It doesn't bother me when it's done to me anymore because I know exactly what's going on. It's sad. See, if a gay guy reached out to Jaron Duran or a gay woman and was like, "Here's why what you did is so hurtful," is that for since the beginning of time, since the beginning of my life, I've felt this way. I've never. It wasn't a decision I made. I felt this way, and you have to understand that how difficult it is for me, and da 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 da. And you said all right, here's why what you did was so hurtful to me. If Jaron Duran heard that, you would hope that Jaron Duran would be like, "Oh Jesus, I'm throwing this word around. I shouldn't be doing that." Someone put a face to it, and he would have empathy. If he didn't have empathy, then that would be on him, and he would be a piece of garbage. But just virtue signaling on the internet and judging apologies, and you're not even going after the right thing. It's just is that how you would tell a kid? Wouldn't you explain to your kids if they used a word all right, here's why this is so hurtful.
Right.
It's hurtful because it's hard enough being a gay person in society. They've been fighting for hundreds of years for any kind of rights. They're for no reason people are very hateful, can be dangerous. A lot of times that when they're younger, they're isolated. Da 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 da.
No, Fred, what you do is when you hear that word, you immediately start talking about the picks for vice president. and then you start and you immediately equate it to what's going on as something completely unrelated to what just happened.
Hachi-machi. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Houston swept the Red Sox yesterday 10-2 at Fenway Park. Alex Bregman, a 3-run homer. Sox have lost 4 in a row. They play Texas at Fenway tonight. James Paxton left in the first inning with a calf injury to his right leg. He'll undergo an MRI today. Duran struck out 3 times, and microphones picked him up using an anti-gay slur towards a fan that was heckling him in the 6th inning. Patriots held a season ticket holder only practice in Foxborough yesterday. Jonathan Jones among the missing. Hunter Henry was not able to finish. The team will practice again today at 11 a.m. And the 2024 Summer Olympics came to a close in Paris last night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts' leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clogged drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And, Hardy, what else is going on?
Oh, the Olympics wrapped up yesterday. We'll talk more about that later. But just in terms of the actual sporting events, the men played France on Saturday in the gold medal game. And that was rather undramatic affair.
Steph Curry late, pretty dramatic.
I would disagree. I think
compared to the women, Fred.
Ooh, my bad.
We interrupted.
We did interrupt you soon. I apologize.
Compared to the women who had all they could handle with the team also from France, and it was only because a last-second attempt to tie the game didn't fall short. The bucket actually went in, but the French players, I heard it describes as just being inches over the line. No. One foot was totally over the three-point line.
It was not something that would have to be replayed.
No.
It was listen, they were not really trying to tie that game.
Yes.
I mean, she was just throwing it up there, and then there you go.
Well, see, I would like to give them credit for, executing a great play and making the shot and doing everything they could to tie the game, but like, you have one, I say one job in that moment, and that's to hit a three to tie the game. I suppose you could look at it as, I can take a two and hope I get fouled and go to the line. But how often do you see a long-range jumper in the women's game get, A, go in, B, an actual foul on the play, right, and the ball still goes in. I mean, just two plays.
It hit. So one of the French women hit one from almost mid-court as the shot clock went off.
Yeah,
second half.
I don't think
I was very surprised it happened.
Yeah, I don't think she was trying to draw a foul. I don't think that's the play that
I don't think that's the play.
Draw up.
So you're trying to hit a three. You got to make sure you're behind the line.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's going to have to live with that for the rest of her life because, I mean, we're going to remember that forever.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because I didn't watch the game because, it was on during the day and it was women's basketball. But, I was interested when I heard that they lost by one. If I knew it was that close and I was home, I would have put it on. For sure.
Yeah, I did watch the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I would have watched the end of it for sure, not to act like I wouldn't have. But it was funny because I heard someone talking about it. I ended up going back and watching, but I heard someone talking about it. I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. And then they went to Rebecca Lobo to break it down, and I went, well, I'm not listening to this anymore. This is far too much analysis. I don't.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what happened.
I didn't need the 8-minute interview.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, let's save that for the sports we care about.
I can pretty much formulate my own opinion of this.
And for many reasons, like they've won the gold medal, 8 Olympics in a row or something?
Yeah.
So
over 60 straight wins.
Yeah, so who cares?
Wow. The total medal count.
Give it to me.
As things wrap up.
Give it to me. Who took home the gravy, baby? Is it some commie pile of garbage country, or is it the sweetest place on the planet?
In third place, Japan.
Yeah.
Actually, it depends on how much you want to weight the gold medals.
Just give me full medal count.
Okay,
baby.
let's go with a host country, France. 64 medals, 16 gold, 26 silver, 22 bronze.
Nice try, France.
Australia, 53 total medals, but more golds than France, 18, 19, and 16.
Good day, mate.
In third place.
See you later, dorks.
According to the weighted scale given to gold medals, Japan, 20 gold medals, 12 silver, 13 bronze.
Sayonara.
A total of 45. China, 40 gold medals, 27 silver, 24 bronze.
Kawasaki, see you later.
And the United States of America also tying China with 40 gold medals.
How many silvers, though?
44 and 42 bronze, 126. So there you go. That is
well done, USA.
how things end up there in the United States.
Sensational
of America.
job, gang. Sensational job. From tip to tail, you guys showed that USA is number one.
They win for the Olympics.
Isn't it fun that France has become, in all seriousness, that France, who lost the gold medal games, both women's and men's basketball, have become this huge force in basketball? Who would have seen that?
Yeah.
And by the way, the United States is very lucky that these Eastern Bloc countries have all separated, because in terms of athletics, I guess in terms of geopolitics, it's probably for the best. But
in an athletic sense, though.
But when it comes to the Olympics, like if that was, I mean, they would get killed. The United States not superior anymore, and not as superior. I mean, look at France, had the swimmer. France, for not that big a nation, is really churning out the Olympic athletes.
So Leon Marchand, is that his name?
Indeed.
Yeah.
I think the men still end up winning, but if the women
I'm not convinced of that.
Well, no, if the women end up playing France in a 5 or 7 game series, it's going 5, it's going 7.
Well, have you heard what they're saying? Who's going to be on this is all speculation, obviously, but the 2028 U.S. Men's Olympic team? It's not great. Names like Chet Holmgren, Cooper Rush, Zion Williamson. Like it's not great. I mean, the guys that dominated. The one thing I'll give the U.S. men's
Cooper
team.
Flagg?
Cooper Flagg. I said Cooper Rush. Sorry, Cooper Rush is a quarterback. My bad. Everyone, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm
but
just a little confused. Yes.
But if you okay, you be confused. No, but seriously. But if you look at the guys that dominated, and good for them, LeBron, Curry, and Durant. Now Durant says he wants to play in 4 years. He'll be 39, I guess, maybe. You're shaking your head, but LeBron played. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
They'll put him on the team. They have to. But the 3 guys that dominated, 2 of them certainly aren't going to be on the team, and then 1 would be 39. It's not like there's not, and then Anthony Edwards will be on the team. I don't know. Who knows if Tatum's going to want to play? He didn't play, and then when he played, he was ineffective.
He looked just since we're talking about this, he looked uncomfortable.
People are saying
looked very, very odd.
People were saying he was not a good fit for this team.
Anthony Edwards gets in and he just looked loose. He looked like he was playing free. Tatum looked like he was thinking the entire time he was out there. It was very strange.
I heard someone say that this is going to be the best thing for Tatum because he's going to come back from the Olympics with his chip,
vengeance.
this chip on his shoulder. He was benched, and people are saying, I'm like, yeah, you don't follow Tatum on a day-to-day basis. I don't think that's his mentality. I don't think he reacts that way. I don't think he goes out there with things to prove.
No one needs Tatum to do anything. They won the championship. Tatum's fine. Don't worry about Tatum.
But
he doesn't need a chip on his shoulder.
But even if he did, I don't know that he responds the way some athletes do. It's like, I'm going to go out there and prove them wrong. No, I think he just plays.
Well, good for him. I mean, but I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't think that in France is going to be way better because of look at who, that their young stars are going to be right in their prime. So it should be interesting. There's no guarantee. I'm not sure the United States will be the favorite in 2028, as a matter of fact. All right, when we come back.
What's the line now? Have you checked FanDuel?
I don't. Lifshats, text me. Come on, buddy. All right, we'll be back. When we come back, Hardy had a friend on his golf club show.
I sure did.
Friend of the show. We'll talk about that. Greenskeeper from no, I'm just kidding. He's a friend of the show, though. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
sixth inning. Duran was hitless and struck out 3 times yesterday. The Sox play Texas at Fenway Park tonight. The AAA Worcester Red Sox just got a lot better. The top 3 prospects in the organization, Marcelo Mayer, Roman Anthony, and Kyle Teal, were all promoted from AA Portland yesterday. The Patriots held a season ticket-only practice in Foxborough yesterday. Duran Mayo saw all of his quarterbacks play last Thursday in the preseason opener, and that includes everybody's new favorite, Joe Milton.
Watching Joe, run around and that athleticism is always a welcome sight. And saying that, there's still things for him to work on. One thing would be ball security. I know it looked cool, but it's always a dangerous thing swinging the ball around like that. But this is a guy who's working hard every single day and getting better.
Jonathan Jones was among the missing for the first time yesterday. Marcus Jones absent as well. Tight end Hunter Henry appeared to suffer a leg injury and did not finish. The team will practice again today at 11, then hold a joint practice with Philadelphia tomorrow. And the Summer Olympics came to a close in Paris last night. The women's basketball team for the U.S. held off France 67-66 for gold. Overall, the U.S. won an event, leading 126 medals, and tied China for the most gold medals with 40. The Summer Games will be in L.A. in 4 years. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub. Now, more Tuncher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Tuncher and Hardy. Mike Reiss is going to join us. He who got into it with Felder and Naz. Talk Patriots. We're a little more respectful. I think Mike is a great reporter who vets everything that he talks about quite thoroughly, if I have to say my piece. This hour of our show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. One issue I had with him is when he was on with Felger and Maz, he said that they were the best show.
Yeah,
said you guys are the best show.
That's not right.
And I said, and I thought, are they? Are they the best show?
No.
No.
This is the best show.
I mean, this is a mark with Hillman. Come on. All right.
It goes the Joe Show, us, Sports Hub Golf Club, Gasper and Murray.
Then Sports Hub Golf Hub Club again, because you were playing it. But if you don't know, Hardy, before he got the morning show, had every job known to man. He was working. There was a voice to be voice tracked, he was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what voice tracking is that people will sit in front of a computer and they'll talk into a microphone. Their words will go into a computer system, and then that will get loaded into a radio station. And that's what you're hearing when you're listening to the radio.
Well, it doesn't get loaded in. You actually load it in.
Okay.
The person you have to, engineer and do it all yourself.
Fair enough. But if at 10 o'clock in the morning, other than the Sports Hub, if you walked down the aisle and looked into every radio station, you would see it empty, only a computer screen playing songs into. Well, it's sad. And I just in the email this morning that iHeart just laid off a bunch more people. And they're almost all music DJs, and I'm not kidding. It's not ideal.
It's not good.
And the thing is that if I was a radio station, I know that you're trying to cut costs, but radio DJs don't make a ton of money, and it's like the thing that you have above everyone is a live DJ that can take phone calls and show personality. If you allowed them some rope and let them use their talent and connect with the audience, maybe that would be the best thing you could do, but they don't do that. So anyway, Hardy's one of these people that are keeping these guys out of jobs. He's voice tracking. But then one of the great things he does is the golf club. Now, this resonated much more with you. I'm sure, John, you couldn't remember this that well either, but this really stuck in Hardy's craw. A blind man called in, and he said...
Blind man?
Well, that's a big part of it is that he's blind.
Yeah, but it's blind Scott or Scott from the North End.
Sorry, blind Scott.
Yeah.
Which is, I didn't mean to say blind man.
Well, it's like Yoo-hoo, dog man.
I don't know what his his prefixes or whatever you
He
call it.
prefers blind Scott, not blind man.
Yeah, I'm assuming that man. I'm sorry, I didn't know what is that called?
His pronouns?
His pronouns. I don't know his pronouns. I should say blind Scott.
Yeah, his pronouns are blind they and blind them.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you. I shouldn't have gone so far as to say man.
Blind them.
Which you would be surprised conversations that have gone on.
He's so
oh my God. The confusion over pronouns, and it's very confusing right
blind
now.
Them.
That's what you were referring to, right? Because when you went back at me with, no, he's blind Scott, I thought, oh, it can't be the blind part
blind man
that you have an issue with. It's got to be the pronoun.
Yeah, it's a blind man sounds a little dismissive.
Right. So blind Scott. Because I thought you would have said Scott.
Say my name.
Scott.
It wasn't the blind part that was the problem. So anyway, this guy calls in, and he was busting Hardy's balls and something about, taping? Was it you taped the golf show?
He was all upset because he had heard the Sports Hub Golf Club a week ago yesterday. He called in on Monday, and he was complaining about a repeated segment. Now, 3 of the 4 segments, there are 4 segments every week on the Sports Hub Golf Club, 7 a.m. Sunday mornings on 98.5, the Sports Hub. And one of the segments was a repeat, and he called in to complain about it. And without getting too far into the weeds, some of these segments are actually clients, and I tell them yes, and I tell them sometimes I'm like, yeah, well, this will actually air twice because, believe it or not everyone is up and listening at 7 o'clock on Sunday mornings.
Right, you got to catch them when they are.
So if you're going to do 12, 13 minutes at Green Harbor Golf, and you're going to speak with, Director of Golf Ed Davis, and you're going to go out and play the signature hole, number 9, then you are going to invest a lot of time in editing and getting that segment put together.
Yeah, 8 hours.
And you're literally hours driving down there, the time spent there, all that stuff for a 13-minute segment. You're damn right I'm going to play it twice throughout the course of the season.
So anyway, as upset as Hardy's getting for no reason now, I thought that the blind Scott, when he called in, was innocently and humorously busting Hardy's balls, and I've even told Hardy off the air. I'm like, dude, I think he's a fan of yours. He was just joking with you, but Hardy's a man of his word. He put blind they on the on his Sports Hub Golf show, 7 a.m. So everyone's nerves are at a fever pitch because they're like, there's 3 people up. They got to check in with their parole officer, and here we go.
Well, just so you know, I did not contact Scott during the week last week. I said at some point, during that call, as you said, Fred, all right, fine, you come on the show. Guaranteed not to have a recorded segment. This will be me and you on the show together. And I didn't contact him all week. It was Saturday morning, and I'm like, oh, I gotta call Scott. All right. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'll leave him a message. It's like 9 o'clock Saturday morning, and maybe this won't happen. First ring. Hello. Scott, it's Hardy.
Yeah,
great.
He emails.
Let's do this.
I got it. I know where he's coming from. All right, here we go. Here is Hardy with his nemesis, blind Scott.
Now, to hopefully make you happy, this is a brand new segment for you and everyone else this week on the show. So, Scott, give me a little bit about your background because you mentioned something about.
Listen how angry Hardy is. You can tell. Yeah, he don't like this. Blind Scott just a fan of his.
Yeah,
busting balls, being part of the team, and just Hardy can't take
directing my show
because it's a golf show.
Yeah,
it's all very serious.
I do this, and you're in the way. I don't want to deal with this.
I mean, I could be talking to the assistant greenskeeper at someplace in Methuen.
I could be playing a free golf at some point, and you're in my way to doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I can use 3 hours of my time to play one free round.
because you mentioned something about your golf experience and the WeMet scholarship. So give me everything.
Yeah.
What's your story in golf?
So I grew up on Cape Cod in Sandwich, Massachusetts, and I was born in 1982. So I had the opportunity to caddy at the Ridge Club in South Sandwich. I don't know if you ever played there. That's a Von Hagee course.
Fantastic golf course. Yeah, I was down there working with Golfing the World. Maybe earlier this season, you heard my conversation with Kevin Friend.
Tomatoes.
Same listeners.
It really is.
This
You'll
airs,
recall.
Of course.
I was there for a golfing around the world.
This airs after the public affairs hour.
Yeah, you're a bit of a cheese whiz, aren't you, Blind Scott?
Tomatoes. You'll recall golfing around the world.
Of course.
Which is,
Golfing the World.
Which is really a very important organization.
Who still produces Golfing the World, but we went down to the Ridge Club, sure.
Oh, I missed that segment, so I guess you got to replay that one. Yeah. So,
Blind Scott took a shot, and Hardy's playing along. He's laughing. Yeah. Like he's not upset.
It was when I first started working there. It was I think it was built in the '80s, so that was the '90s. They brought like Derek Sanderson in and Bobby Orr, and they used to have this on Nesson back then. They used to have this golf tournament, the Tucker Anthony golf tournament. I don't know if that was before your day. They would air that in the winter. They would film it at the Ridge Club in the summer.
Yeah, it's a big hockey players club. I think we saw Keith Kachuk on the course that day when we were out there shooting for the show. So yeah, that all tracks.
Yeah, his house is right on the course. He used to have a Budweiser truck pull up. I used to see his kids, Matt Kachuk and the other Brady Kachuk, when they were just in baby carriages. But that's a really good course. And then another course I like on the Cape. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like a.
Why are we playing this?
Oh, wait. What was the course?
Where does this go, Hardy? Why did you request that we play this?
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
It was just the part where he busted my balls about replaying the segment. But he does at the very end say that this is his favorite radio station. He loves sports radio and everything was good. I just wanted to have you guys guess how long of a conversation I had with Blind Them from the North End.
How long is the segment supposed to be?
Well, it's an hour-long show.
No, but the segment you had him on for, how long is it supposed to be?
I mean, generally our segments, there's the second segment of an hour, I would say 11 to 12 minutes.
We played that to get the joke about you replaying things on the golf show. If I was you, I'd replay everything 55 times. You had him on for 2.5 hours.
No,
11 minutes. That's how long you had him on.
No, it wasn't 11 minutes. It was 21 minutes.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And with all due respect, you're something of a cheese whiz.
Damn right you are.
You're too deep in the golf show. You're assuming we all know way too much about it.
Well, I'm sure you know, after I mentioned the WeMet scholarship, that I will be attending the WeMet scholarship. It's a little chin wag. It's a little get to know you thing later
today.
Scholarship
for young white men
at George Wright Golf Course today. This afternoon, Jim McBride of the Boston Globe will be there also.
If Christian white men, if you need a scholarship. Look no further.
You know who Francis Ouimet is.
I do, because they put a bag tag on my bag about that. He was a young white man.
Statue of him outside Putterham. Do they still call it Putterham?
That is the Brookline Golf Club.
Brookline got a statue of him right
His
there.
family fighting very hard for Harvard to keep them racial things right where they are.
Right now, we're in the peak of New England's harvest season.
I thought something was going to go sideways during the clip that you played, but it was just a joke about the thing.
That's right.
I'm glad that you talked to him. Congratulations.
21 minutes.
That's encouraging for everyone who wants to listen.
This has backfired on me a little bit. I thought I would play the most exciting thing from the Sports Hub Golf Club this past Sunday, get more people to listen. It turns out that you weren't blown away by it.
You had a listener on for 21 minutes.
Tomatoes.
Very good. Mike Reiss talks on ESPN about a very popular team, the Patriots. We will have him on in just a moment.
Well, miss.
think that the team would tell me that and that I would go on SportsCenter and report that. And I have to be honest, Mike, I'm actually a little bit insulted by that, if that's true. I don't know if that's true because I haven't been listening, but
it's definitely how I feel. I mean, it's okay to have team sources.
And that's okay.
Like, I mean,
you can feel that way. You can feel that way. But the fact that you think that I would go on SportsCenter on that platform and just say that based on something from the team, like that's why I wanted to call in. Mike, that you're creating a perception with listeners that that's the way this works. That's incredibly dangerous. Think about all the people involved in this. You have the agent, you have the player, you have 4 teams, but you are just going to narrow in that the team, hey, we're going to tell Mike this, he'll go out and say it. That's not the way this works. Like, that pisses me off because you've been in this position.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and that was Mike Reiss, our good friend. As James Stewart put it, producer of Felger and Maz putting Felger in a body bag. Reiss did it himself well.
I have not heard Mike more upset than that ever.
I've never, well, I mean, I don't know him that well, and I certainly haven't seen him upset. I have seen Dan Roach very upset, swearing and doing everything else.
That's like finding a unicorn, the Roachy thing. It really is.
I'm telling you, it's not. Like, he was like swearing and like pissed off Roach. Like, I'm like, it was like in a different voice. Like, Mike Reiss was still like himself during that.
Yeah, but
and he was making cognizant points. Like, Dan was like, F this ass and like da this.
Mike, when was the last time you unleashed an expletive-filled tirade like that?
Well, first of all, let me just say good morning, Fred, Hardy, John. It's great to be with you.
Good morning.
I don't know. I don't even know who that person was the other day.
Well, listen, you did a very good job. You really did, and you deserve to defend yourself because the insinuation was that Felger was insinuating or straight out saying that you were like basically a puppet of the Patriots, and you were saying, well, no, that's not true. I get I have several sources from all over different areas, certainly not just the team, and that's how you get your information, right?
Yeah, and I appreciated having the chance to just come on there and just share the other side, and I think it's like good discussion, guys. You know, like I thought it was a good conversation. I was happy that it happened.
No, you did very well. First of all, it's very good radio, so everyone wins in that. The audience, yep. I mean, even though Felger looks like he got the worst of the argument, if I'm Felger, I'm very excited because it was viral and it can't get him in trouble. That's what you want. Like, if it can get you in trouble, then it's not so great. But when it's something that can't get you in trouble, it's great. Like, even if you kind of look like the ass in it, and you did a very good job there. So congratulations, and that had to feel good. That you got to defend yourself. That was smart of you to call in. You faced it, and you won.
Yeah, and then I guess I have to also answer to something I said there, guys, when I said that Mike and Tony were the best. Like, I love you guys. I want to make sure we're on good standing here.
Yeah, you're just throwing out superlatives all over the place and not knowing how that affects other people.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think of how that sounns to other people. I mean, some of us are sitting here. Some of us don't insult you. I don't know if that's what it takes to be the best, just to baselessly insult you like they did. But there you go. All right. So the point that they were arguing is that, and I don't even know why, but the notion that Brandon Ayuk, who the Patriots wanted, would not have turned down more money to go to the Patriots. So the Patriots must have done something like not offered him a lot of guaranteed money. What was the argument? You tell me what's going on. Ayuk's not coming to the Patriots. What happened?
So I think the bottom line, just to simplify it, is they offered a lot of money. He just didn't want to come here, Fred. And that's basically what it is. And I think where we got into our discussion was, I think there was a question on the other side, meaning, Mike and Tony, that I think they just don't believe that they offered legitimate money. Like, don't just tell us like the total.
give us like the specifics of what the guarantees are. And I don't have those, Fred. So it's
and I don't care. I honestly don't care. I don't think that the fans care really either about that. But first of all, what's interesting about it is that they wanted Ayuk that bad. Yeah. And they did want him. I mean, they had offered San Francisco. They were going to make a trade for him, and they were going to pay him a lot of money. Regardless, it was going to be a lot of money. Regardless of the structure of it, they were going to pay Brandon Ayuk like one of the best receivers in the NFL. Is that interesting to you that at this time in the rebuild, they're that all in on a veteran receiver? Not he's young, but a veteran receiver.
It's very interesting to me, Fred, and I think part of it is so they've had 12, 13 practices now, and to me, the biggest storyline with the team outside of obviously Drake May's development is the offensive line. And I guess there's one thing to be said for if you get a number one receiver in here, like it maybe makes things easier for the offensive line. So I guess that would be the argument. But to me, I'm not even sure that would make that much of a difference right now based on what we've seen from the line. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you get Ayuk and you pay him, and you're paying him a lot for this season. If you make that trade, you're giving him money.
Yeah,
Drake May's not going to be throwing to him this season until at least later in the season. Do you think there's any way Drake May starts week 1?
Not right now. Not I guess there's always a chance something could shift, but it certainly doesn't seem like it's headed in that direction right now.
Well, how do you think the line played on Thursday night, Mike?
Really tough, Hardy. So I look at it, first of all, like the context and circumstances of it. The right tackle, Chukwuekorafo, hadn't practiced leading into the game. I don't think anyone thought he was even going to play, Hardy. And then the left guard, City So, was like a game time decision. Like he's working out with the medical staff before the game. And you're thinking to yourself, this is a preseason game. Like, why they even, like, if it's even that close, why would you even chance it? So you get these two guys end up playing in the game. They both look like rusty. Would they play like 10 snaps between the first two drives? And didn't look good, Hardy. Didn't look good to me. I mean, there were a couple plays where I guess there was time, but
yeah,
like to me, if you don't have line play, like it's hard to do anything else.
Mike Onwenu is arguably this team's best offensive lineman. Why have they not moved him out to tackle to protect the quarterback more?
So it's a great question, and I think part of it is like, I'm guessing here that they view the interior, like the two guards in the center, as like one piece, and if they can keep that together. So City So left guard, David Andrews center, Mike Onwenu right guard, like that's a huge part of this. And they probably figure and they've been actually together for the most part since the start of camp. So they've built something there. So it's like, okay, if we do, it comes down to the same old argument. Do we create another hole to fix a different hole, or do we sort of stay with that and deal with just the one hole? And I guess that's probably the thinking there.
I would argue that tackle's more important at this point, especially when you have a young quarterback you're trying to get some reps to, right?
That's a fair argument. I think the other one would be like, what did Tom Brady used to say? Like he actually hated the pressure coming right up the middle versus, where he could maybe see it or feel it more on, coming from the tackle side. But to your point, John, like free agency, who gets paid more? Usually tackles, right? Actually, yeah. Onwenu got paid as a tackle. So hard for me to argue. I guess there's probably two sides to it. It's however a team wants to approach it, but you could probably win that argument on either side.
Well, I mean, just look at the draft. I mean,
right guards aren't getting taken in the top 10.
No, right guards aren't getting taken number one overall.
Yeah.
I mean, there's getting taken ahead of Barry Sanders in the Tony Mandarich situation. Yeah.
And the other thing we've talked about, I think specific to Onwenu, I think if they view him as a player, they might tell you he could be like a 10 out of 10 right guard, and at his best, he might be an 8 out of 10 right tackle, which is still very good, but maybe not like where, you know what I mean? Not like the elite.
Sure. I get it. Now, Drake May, how did he look yesterday? How he got a lot of reps yesterday, I'm to understand.
Yeah, through one interception, Fred, where he like adjusted his arm slot, tried to sneak it through the line, ball got popped up in the air. I would say like nothing changed for me yesterday, Fred, in terms of how he looked. Like he's still the number 2 quarterback. He's still got the great arm talent. Still looks like there's a gap between him and Jacoby for that number 1 spot.
I thought you had a good point that you made yesterday in your notes or in your column about how the Texans utilized and used C.J. Stroud in the game last year around this time, and I guess the similarities to what Mayo is doing with Drake May.
So thanks, Hardy. And I think on that, so basically C.J. Stroud played 2 series last year. It was like 12 snaps. Now, Drake, we got to be honest here. I mean, playing 6 or 7 snaps, if you include a false start, that's really conservative. Like the Patriots are taking a very conservative approach. Like we cannot sugarcoat that when you compare it to like all the other quarterbacks that have been in this situation. One difference, Hardy, that has been pointed out to me that I think is fair, like on Stroud, last year, the Texans probably figured he was going to be their week 1 starter. Whereas with Drake, they're not projecting that right now. So usually when you're not going to be the week 1 starter, you're going to play more in the preseason, not less. Do you know what I mean? So that's one difference. I tried to put it in there. I don't know if I made the point strong enough, but I guess my bigger point is Drake did not play as much as most young quarterbacks do in their first preseason game. There's still 2 games to go, and they've already said it. That number is going to grow significantly over the next couple weeks.
I'm trying to figure out the status of the offense in general, reading you and others that are there. And Pop Douglas had the red uniform off, and he was back on the field in a full capacity. And everyone who was there said it made all the difference in the world to have Pop Douglas on the field. Is that where we are with this offense, that a day 3 pick that's small, that's having trouble staying on the field, is the major difference maker for this offense?
I think it's very fair, John. I do think he makes I agree with that. Like I think he's their best option right now in the sense of he can uncover quickly and make it easier for quarterbacks. I would add one maybe little caveat, like we haven't seen the running game in sort of full like throttle. So if you're looking to hang your hat on something that could make this work for them, it would be a running game that also opens up things in the passing game, if that makes sense, right? Like play action. We haven't seen full Ramondre Stevenson, full Antonio Gibson, an offensive line that they're just saying fire off the ball and we're ground and pounding. Not the way you probably win in today's NFL, but maybe a way you can sustain a little bit and try to get this thing going in the right direction.
All right. Let's talk about the legend of Joe Milton. Joe Milton played well, and who last year played? Who was the kid last year that?
Malik Cunningham ran for a touchdown, and everyone was, Malik Cunningham.
No, he didn't catch that touchdown. It was a really good pass, but it was not actually. But Mike,
he
correct
ran
me
for
if
a
I'm-
score.
He ran for one, but he had one good pass that I believe was not caught.
But I have heard someone called Joe. The Joe Show, and campaigned for Joe Milton. Why not be the big starting quarterback?
Why not Joe?
Why not Joe? What have you seen for him in practice, and what are your thoughts on Joe Milton?
Well, first of all, Fred, he just doesn't get as many reps. So that tells you how the coaches view it. Like it's Jacoby, Drake, and then a significant drop-off between the next 2, Bailey Zappi and Joe Milton. So just take it from like how the Patriots are approaching it. And then when he gets in there, I think what we've seen is a tremendous arm, a great sort of energetic leader. I think the players do like him and respond to him. And when the first read is there, I mean, and he rips it, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's where we are right now. And like, he's a young quarterback, and I think it's like develop him, and like they might have something there to whether it's a backup or a potential quarterback they can trade in the future. I don't think we're at a point where like it's like he's surpassing Drake May. I don't think that's sort of the conversation right now.
Well, you speak. I mean, this is very hot. You're speaking very highly of the gentleman. I mean, you're saying a possible backup or trade piece. Interesting.
Down the line, Fred. So like that would be maybe not this year, but like if he keeps developing and has another good preseason, that would be like similar to what the Packers used to do when Elliot Wolf's dad was running the show out there. Like guys like Matt Hasselbeck, Aaron Brooks, Mark Brunell, like that was sort of how they did business out in Green Bay back in the day.
Oh yeah, Mark. Before him, Magic Mikowski or whatever. Don Mikowski. Yeah, that he was.
Love it.
Yeah, he would play Poison songs on the acoustic guitar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He was a multi-talented man. All right. Well, Mike Reiss, congratulations on making Felger look like a huge dick, and not only that, but dumb. You did that
Not
as
at
well.
all. Not at all.
You know you did. Go ahead.
You guys are the best.
All right.
See, there it is. That's all we wanted
Thank
out of
you,
this
Mike.
20 minutes.
And it was
Thank you.
sincere. He wasn't even thinking about it. All right, Mike Reiss, watch him on ESPN. He's the best. Mike, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys.
All right, there
Thanks,
you
Mike.
go. The one part I actually heard live, I was going to the gym. And I don't know if that was the appropriate one. That should have been. And I did hear it like Felger's like they don't spend any money, and Reiss is like, well, are you basing that on prior off seasons or this off season? Because this off season they spent a lot of money, and Felger's like, I guess prior off seasons, and he's like, well, that's not fair, and Felger's like, huh. Like it was.
Yeah.
But I'm not kidding. Like when something goes viral like that, and I know everyone's like dunking, like I'm dunking on Felger, and like Felger sucks. You realize that's all like very good for everyone at the station. Like if as long as it's not something that can get you in trouble.
That's the best point. You know, usually when this happens, you are in a massive amount of trouble. So
yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. But if you listen to the whole segment, I listened to most of it. Mike's not just, playing nice. Now, it was a good back and forth. And Mike, I don't know if they were so much points as they were like admissions. He said on several occasions to Mike Reiss, Felger said, look, you got a source from the team and ran with it. I've done that. And Reiss said, well, but Mike, you never went with a story where you only had one source and you got some from the team. And Felger's like, of course I did. Like it happens. I know it. Now it's a different tone when, they're talking about it and Reiss isn't on the phone. I don't know what was said, and it probably wasn't overly complimentary, but Felger did own a large portion of it by saying, look, I'm not saying what you did is the worst thing ever because I did it. And it was a decent back and forth. I just liked the fact, like you said, Fred, that Mike Reiss took it upon himself it wasn't scheduled. He's like, no, I'm going to call in. I'm hearing all this stuff. And what you're saying here is damaging not only to me, but like to the overall thing that we're trying to do. It's not Watergate. It's not Woodward and Bernstein, but there is a certain level of trust that we got to maintain with the readers and the audience to say that, yeah, we're not just going to throw anything out there that we hear from one person. We do our work on this stuff. We do our homework.
Yeah. It was just, it was good that Reiss defended himself.
Yes.
Because that can be damaging. I mean, that would have pissed me off if I was Reiss.
Yes.
But my mind, as everyone does, I have my own goalposts for what's appropriate and what I'll take. And if it was, I think that when you challenge a guy's like earnest or his credibility as a reporter, and he's a reporter for a living, you gotta defend yourself.
Like Ernest Saves Christmas?
Did I say Ernest wrong?
No, I don't know what. I don't know what it means other than a name of a delightful character and a vehicle for an entire franchise.
You know, he's a big fan of the show, and then we'll break is Tony P in D.C.
Yeah.
He reached out and he had because I was telling him, I said on the air, I don't like where Tony P's Instagram is going, and he reached out to me. And then I reached out back to him, and he said he's been listening to the show. We inspired Tony P.
I want to play golf with Tony P. It looks like he's a player.
Well, he's a big fan of the show. He's a big fan of the show. I told him, Tony P., I don't like where this is going. I was very honest with him. I was very upfront with him. And he said, look, I got these television opportunities. I said, Tony P., And then what the rest is between Tony P and I. But it was a good-natured conversation.
Good.
He's a big fan of the show. I mean, Isaac, young Isaac in the other room is another one who I've inspired. So,
Isaac, taking
back.
both Isaac and Tony, a lot of room under wings that big.
Mm-hmm. And these kids are the wind beneath my wings. All right, we'll be right back.
Sports.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. The Olympics are over, and everyone enjoyed the Olympics a great deal. We'll get into the closing ceremonies and some of the problems with it coming up, but the United States did what it had to do to maintain its rank as the best country in the planet, in the history of the planet, as the country me as much as anyone else, went out there and kicked a little butt. We put a boot in the other country's behinds and said, out of here, you guys suck. But there were some problems in the Olympics. There are three things that come to mind. They took the bronze medal away from the U.S. gymnast in the floor exercises, like days after the floor exercises were over, because of what?
It's Jordan Childs, who, by the way, this morning has announced she's gone off social media for her mental health, and I would recommend that for anyone.
She was just on TV. She was just doing a live interview, so that's interesting. All right, go ahead.
There was an on-floor appeal by Chile's coach, and the real issue here is the timestamp. So you can appeal a ruling on a scoring issue. USA Gymnastics is disputing the timing, saying in a statement yesterday that they submitted a video that showed the Chile coach first appealed 13 seconds before the deadline. The timestamp video evidence submitted by USA Gymnastics first stated a request to file an inquiry 47 seconds after the score is posted, followed by a second statement 55 seconds after the score was posted. And it's all about the timing of it. So you have a minute in order to appeal a ruling or a scoring issue or anything like that. So
they did it late.
They want to add. They want to add a tenth of a point to Chile's score, and they're saying it was outside the 1 minute window.
Yeah,
and that's what it's come down to, the timing of it.
The late. They appealed the thing late. So what they did is that days after the gymnastics contest, they took the bronze medal away from the U.S. gymnast and gave it to the Romanian gymnast, and they're acting like they're going to do this whole medal ceremony and everything else under the sun. So that's a disaster. The second thing that happened is, you remember the boxer, the women's boxer, that she won one of her matches and the woman wouldn't shake her hand?
Yes.
Do you recall that, John? She would not shake her hand.
I do recall that.
It was a woman from Italy. She would not shake this woman's hand, and she said, "This woman's a man. This woman's a man." She was banned by a boxing entity for being a man. They test for chromosomes, and this is a man. And do you recall how this woman ended up winning the gold medal? And I say woman with all certainty with this woman, because this woman won the gold medal. She was born a woman. And all these people were going crazy, and this is what's wrong with society, and this, that, and the third, and look at what's happening, da-da-da-da-da. And then if you did any research, the person was born the woman was born a woman.
Yeah, it took about 5 seconds to locate that.
Yeah, she was
everyone.
It just goes entire life a woman.
This goes back to the Boston Globe thing we were talking about earlier. Everyone is really, really psyched to hop on that train without doing any research at all.
Yes, compassionate narcissism. Yeah, the people that are like, oh, these poor women having to go up against this man in the ring. This man is beating them all up. And you know, when did they quote unquote decide to become a man, and then they shake their fingers and this, that, and the third? No, this person, this is a woman, born a woman, lived as a woman, and so by the way, you're gonna trust a boxing entity to be the bastion
Boxing isn't
of
the
truth?
cleanest sport in the world.
No,
That's
I
true.
mean, it's ridiculous that the IBA, Women's World Boxing Championship Organization, that's the organization. Wouldn't you trust the Olympics more than the IBA? I mean, if the Olympics lets you compete as a woman, I would trust the Olympics 100 times. I'm glad we never talked about it, because I wonder how many people ran off like this is the end of the world and snowflakes this, snowflakes that.
Again, it took How long did it take you to find that little fact out that she was born a woman?
Well, first of all, when it happened, I didn't particularly care. And then,
but when you focused on it.
And then when I focused on it to find out that she was born a woman, that this wasn't like a decision or something of that nature.
One Google search?
Was no time.
Yes.
No time at all.
Exactly right.
So they destroyed this boxer who can't even win the gold medal and enjoyed. And finally, Hardy, I think this is something that should be celebrated, but there was a break dancer that everyone's making fun of that got a 0 in breakdancing. Breakdancing, which everyone does now. Breakdancing, not 40 years too late.
Sweeping the nation.
Not 40 years too late. Breakdancing just in time in 2024 for no one to be doing it. A slap in the face. And Hardy, what happened?
So the Australian breakdancer is reportedly some type of professor of breakdancing in Australia.
Yeah.
And Ray Gunn, as the dancer is known, went out on the floor, and you see it's a real community of breakdancers, and even the judges dress the part and play the part, and the other competitors are up there on the dance floor as they're breakdancing. And we've all seen the Australian breakdancer now went out there and did some gyrations and did things like the sprinkler and did something that kind of looked like the Three Stooges on one shoulder rolling around in a circle on the floor.
Larry Fine, yeah.
Larry Fine.
Yeah, the Get Fresh crew used to do the Larry Fine. You remember that minor hit from Nucleus? It was called the Larry Fine.
No.
Yeah. And then they had one called I Why I Oughta.
Oh.
So anyway, everyone's ripping on this Australian breakdancer. And so I would say,
spoiler alert, she did not win the gold medal.
No, she got a 0. But the thing is that if God bless the Australian breakdancer, you do your own thing. Who's to tell you the artistic rules of dance? It's a ridiculous competition. I'm glad good for the Australian breakdancer. And how dare you make fun of him? Steve, go ahead.
Hey, boys. Yeah, Freddie, just a quick kind of clarification on that Algerian boxer. So from reading all the different news articles, I guess the issue was that person tested XY chromosome test, which would potentially have allowed that person as a child to go through male puberty. And if that is the case, then that could potentially have given that.
No, I understand what happened, but this person was born with female genitalia.
There are two. Yeah, there's the Algerian boxer and the Taiwanese boxer. So there were two controversies.
Right, but the way it was, people were arguing against it was as if this woman at one point when I'm
dude.
Yeah, I'm going to become a man.
I get that. But I just want to let you know. But so my point too is the reason why it could potentially be a relevant issue is if you go through any type of male puberty, regardless of sort of your outward, anatomy, that does potentially give you some type of athletic advantage.
And I understand that, but there's it's too noisy, but there's two things about it. Is it was a boxing entity that did the test, and I would take the Olympics over the boxing entity any day. And two, not so much even the results of the test, but the way people were responding to it was when the story first came out was as if this person was born genetically a man and then decided at some point to become a woman. But they were born, this person was born with female genitalia. And, for all we know, didn't know anything was even going on, if anything's going on. So anyway, I just thought that it was interesting. People hopped all over this person, and it had to be quite painful. And then you win the gold. My point is that you win the gold, and then no one can let you enjoy it. And then the lady wins the bronze, and no one can let her enjoy it because it's 4 seconds late with the appeal.
And the irony is that Ray Gunn, who they keep points in the breakdancing competition, she went 0-3, and she was outscored by a total of 54-0. So she loses as big as anyone has ever lost in the Olympics, and now, Fred Toucher, you are celebrating her.
I think that, why not? What did she do that was wrong? Who's to judge?
Dancing in the Olympics when she can't dance.
All right. You can't tell me what dancing is. It's self-expression. Jimmy Fallon was all over the closing ceremonies, and that's not good for anyone. We'll have that in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Watch us on YouTube. Oh, watch us on YouTube. What's wrong with you? Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get into that. All right. It is exciting times because the Olympics are over, and now they're going to be in Los Angeles, California, where they were in 1984 because they can't find new places to have the Olympics.
Well, no one else. That's the other thing. There aren't many cities now that want them. That's the other part of it.
No, but I would assume this was good for Paris. I mean, maybe what do I know? Probably in 2 years they'll talk about how it cost them $10 billion and that everything's empty that they built and this, that, and the third. But nonetheless, Los Angeles is having it. And the closing ceremonies happened. You had Tom Cruise, who's a lot of plastic surgery. Now his face is starting to look like he has done a lot.
So it's that weird thing that people do when they're trying to maintain that youthful appearance. They get real puffy because I think they're injecting stuff into their face.
It's filler.
To keep the wrinkles out.
Yeah, like people, like I put filler everywhere. Like you can tell. That's how I keep looking so young. And these cheekbones.
Do you go to Mexico for that? Because I hear it's a much better. It's just a much better rate you get on like the butt implants and stuff.
No, Haiti is where I get most of my stuff done.
So he's got that puffiness in his face. He doesn't look. He doesn't look in his 60s or whatever he is.
No, he looks good, but he
didn't look
he
right.
used to almost look freaky, like how young he looked, and how normal it looked that he was young, and now it looks like he's an older guy who's had a bunch of plastic surgery. Regardless, he did a stunt. You wouldn't believe it. He rappelled very slowly from the ceiling of the place. He went in a very, very slow rappel. He got on the floor, acted. The biggest stunt he did was putting himself in front of people without the ability to edit. He put himself live in front of people.
Well, weren't we told skydiving into the closing ceremonies? Oh yeah, Dan, thank you very much. I heard skydive. I saw a headline. He skydives into the. They're like, that's not skydiving. That's going down slow rope. That's just a slow rope.
No, it's like when you go to the arcade and your kids go on the zip lines. Like it was an indoor zip line.
Yeah,
it was no big deal. But then he got on a motorcycle and he took off like so many people who buy motorcycles and drive them around. That's a leisure activity for people, old people. They'll retire and they'll go around the country on motorcycles. But if you're NBC, now is the time to flex your muscle and put your stars on. And is there a bigger star that can handle being around big events and big celebrities better than Jimmy Fallon?
Nope.
And here is Jimmy Fallon on the closing ceremonies.
Fallon, who, wait a minute, the French president Emmanuel Macron was taking the selfie with Fallon. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Biden.
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Obama.
Yeah.
Any of them take a selfie with you?
No one does a selfie.
What's
no one
going
posts it. Yeah. He's my roommate. I'm here because all the hotels are booked. And I just called a friend, President Macron. I said, hey, can I stay at the palace? You have a lot of rooms. Just put a Post-it note on any of the wine you don't want me to drink, and I'll be a good roommate.
Look at him. He's poking fun at the alleged alcoholism of Jimmy Fallon. Saying just put a Post-it note under the wine. Any of the wine you don't want me to drink was right where his mind went.
Yeah, just mark the sugar bowls that are actually sugar and the ones that are cocaine. Just leave those in my room.
Right.
I mean, as long as we're talking about the things you hear.
In fairness to Jimmy Fallon, there was this thing that was advertised in Rolling Stone as this explosive expose about how brutal it was backstage at the Tonight Show, and you'll read it and you'll go, the people that work for the Tonight Show are out of their minds. They're like, Jimmy would read our jokes and get pissed and be like, these suck. And to that I would say, he's getting on national television that night reading jokes. What do you want him to do? Like he has X amount of time to get X amount of funny jokes. Your job is to write them. If you don't, you sit in the back and they bomb, and then you go, oh, they bombed. We'll be back tomorrow. Fallon's out there in front of an audience in the world doing the jokes, stupid. Of course. What should he have done? It's a pressure situation, you jackasses. And then they're like, I think he was drinking. I'm like, why do you think so? And they're like, well, I smelled him in the elevator. Well, then, then you got him. Dead to rights. You should start throwing around that he's drunk at work and allegations of his alcoholism if you smelled him in the elevator. You want to talk about vetting sources? I hated Jimmy Fallon, read the article, looking to, hate him more, and I was like, I feel sorry for the guy. He's got the biggest bunch of pussies working for him. You're comedians, for Christ's sakes. Write the jokes. You know, you thought he, whipped it out or he, hit someone. He did something bad. But it's no. He could be very stern if he did not like the jokes. Well, yeah. Your job is to write jokes. There's a pressure situation.
What do you think Letterman was like back in the day? Do you think he was always
Well,
nice?
first of all, Letterman was notorious. He quit drinking because he knew he was becoming too big an a-hole. But yeah, Letterman was notoriously a tough boss. The pressure that these guys are under, they have a 5-minute monologue. It's got to be, of the stories of the day, basically.
It's the first thing.
Yeah, but the thing is that's what you hang your hat on, and that's why you pay a team of writers to write the jokes. And if you're not writing them, he can't sit down and you can have a massage circle. You only have a half an hour to write more. Anyway.
Well, you're slumming here with us. I'm glad you're with us at the closing. It's going to be fun.
So great to see you, and I've been watching and rooting on Team USA from the U.S., and I can't even tell you what a great job you are doing, what a great job everyone is doing. We're all going to miss this. What a great moment for sport. This is phenomenal athletes, phenomenal competition.
Oh, God. The obvious. Oh, jeez, Louise. Okay. Someone didn't prepare for their book report.
And everyone loved it. It's a giant hit, and we don't want it to go away. So we want this to be year-round Olympics, please.
Oh, Jimmy, that's fun. What a funny joke. We want it to be the year-round Olympics. Please. Ugh. Why doesn't he just retire? He doesn't want to be doing this.
Fallon?
Yeah.
This is exactly what he wants to do. He wants to be the guy to show up and to be the golden retriever puppy that likes everything and everybody likes him, and he wants to bounce around from place to place and
put a little effort into it.
Stay in the palace of the French Prime Minister.
Put a little more effort into it.
We need a break. We need to get some rest. You were courtside, though, for the game, and you were kind of making eye contact with the guys and involved in the conversation.
I was with I could hear LeBron talking throughout the game, and it was just, and Steph, all those points, 24 points, all 3 points, all 3-pointers, by the way. And I was doing a TikTok, and he just so happened to hit the 3-pointer, and I had to turn.
Now I hate you even more. First of all, why is Tirico laughing at his non-jokes? And second of all, you were making a TikTok?
Doesn't everyone do that?
49-year-old man.
Doesn't everyone do that over the age of 45 when sitting in a sporting event?
Jesus Christ. I was making a TikTok.
He wasn't even facing the game. That's the thing. Right. Curry hits that three,
well,
and Jimmy Fallon's looking at his phone.
I think it was in warm-ups.
He hit all 3-pointers.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. He hit a 2-pointer. He hit a free throw. Jimmy, you'll bury us all.
Turn the camera to my mouth and go, "We," and then he just looked at me and he gave me kind of the Isaac from Love Boat. Yes, yeah. He gave me the wink. I go, "This guy's a pro." Come on, Steph Curry. You'll never see a team like that again.
So you had a great day.
What, that wins that needs his last second shot to win? We'll never see that team like that again.
Wow, that was
God, his job is just to fillet everything way over the top. Show some tact.
You had a great day. So you're courtside for the hoops. And during the day, you were at the track and field. And not only were you there, but you were sitting with Mick Jagger.
Yeah, I saw Mick Jagger. And Mick Jagger watching track and field is pretty fun.
Okay, so here we go.
So here come the jokes.
All right, so he's with Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger's 80. He's got a big personality. Remember Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, rather, his great impression of Saturday Night Live's been. Mick Jagger's been on the show. They've done great impressions. Let's hear Jimmy Fallon, America's host, do his Mick Jagger stuff.
Because he's just really, just yelling and just really for, Georgia Bell for Great Britain. Come on, Georgia, go, yeah. And he's yelling. And I go, Mick, will you calm down? And he's just so into it. Going for it. It's faster. But it was the most fun. We had the best time. I love that guy.
But you know Mick.
Now I'm friends with Mick, yeah, for a while, but I met him years ago on Saturday Night Live.
Really? Was he a musical guest?
He was musical guest on the show, and he wanted to do a sketch, and Lauren was like, does anyone have any ideas? And I'm like, I'll do something. And so I go, how about me and Mick in the mirror? I'll be his reflection, and Mick is there, and I'm like, what we here for? What we doing? What's going on? And Lauren goes, please don't do that. It's been done by Lucille Ball. It's been done by Groucho Marx. Just go do a sketch. And so I go in to pitch these ideas to Mick Jagger. Right. And so I'm going through my list. I'm like, it's me and you, and we work at at an ice cream shop. And it's like,
isn't this exactly like John Mulaney,
So,
only not funny?
This is the exact thing I thought of. Mulaney does a bit about Mick Jagger being on Saturday Night Live, and it's hysterical because Mulaney says, people say, was he nice? I say, no, he wasn't nice. It was Mick Jagger. I would pitch an idea to him. He'd say, not funny. No. He'd say, Diet Coke, and 3 hands would hand him a Diet Coke.
Well, Mick is notorious for wanting a lot of sandwiches.
So Mulaney's bit about Jagger is really good. Fallon, I'm waiting for it to get really good.
No, thanks. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. He's very polite. And then I'm going through all my ideas, and then I just go, how about me and you in the reflection in the mirror? And he goes, I like that. And so I go, Lauren, good news, bad news. Good news is he wants to do a sketch. Bad news, it's me and him in the mirror. And it was one of the best sketches we ever did.
Oh, one of the best sketches you ever did in the entire 50-year history of the show?
Thank God it took
Congratulations.
You 4 minutes. It took 4 minutes to describe it. That was
is
good.
Van Dyne by the River by Chris Farley.
It is men synchronized swimming. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Think of all the franchise that came from that, too. I mean, think of all the movies that came out of the Mick Jagger
the Blues
mirror.
Brothers,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's a lot.
Some of the great things happened over the 50 years of Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary season coming up this fall. A lot of build up for that on NBC. It's
going to be good.
Jimmy's going to be with us the rest of the evening.
No, you're not so quick.
Thank God he's going to hang out.
No, not so quick. He's not going to be there.
No. Because he's going to duck into the bathroom, and when he comes out, he's going to be lockjawed, and he's not going to be talking to anybody.
Mick, it reminds me when Paul McCartney was on the show, and I was pitching ideas, and I said, what if you loved sandwiches? Well, hey, now I'm hearing what you're putting down. Yeah, so the character is you're you, but you love sandwiches. So where's the joke? Just that you love them. Oh. And that sometimes they get so big like a dagwood that it's too big, and you almost are upset, and you don't like that how big they are. They're too big, you say? Yeah, isn't that funny? It's knocking my socks off. It's hysterical.
Now that you go,
Cold Cuts McCartney.
Now that you go through it, Fred, you were talking about Cold Cuts McCartney before Too Much Tuna.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
true.
Maybe Kroll and Mulaney stole that from you.
Well, listen, just like Fallon stole his whole thing from Mulaney about, but managed not to make it funny. He's like, John, I didn't really steal it because I took all the jokes out. All the attempts at making someone laugh. I don't even mind Jimmy Fallon. Ever since that article, I don't even mind Jimmy Fallon anymore. It's just that. And think about Jimmy Fallon. Like, you're not overly funny.
Now, busking on the subway with Green Day.
No. He's terrible. He's no. My point is this: is that like I feel bad because he's not funny. Like he's charismatic and does voices, but he's not funny. So there's got to be a tremendous amount of pressure on him every night to be funny when he has an inability to do so.
Okay, so you still mind him, but you'll give him credit for yelling at people who are trying to make him funny. And I'm not being a jerk. That at least he has the wherewithal to understand I'm not funny. It's your job to make me funny. And if you're not doing it, I got to yell.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. You figured it out. That's my point of Jimmy Fallon. He was mean. When our joke sucked, he didn't like it. Well, what's your job? Writing jokes. Well, then what should he have done? Like the jokes, but they weren't funny. Like, this one person's like, I was going to kill myself.
No.
Oh, well, that's his fault? That's his fault. That you have so many issues. You're suicidal. Your suicidal ideology is a problem that you can't, like, quitting the job isn't going to solve it. Like, this is a big issue. Like, in all seriousness, like, this transcends any boss that you could ever have. I'm sure it could add to it, but you got to figure a lot of stuff out. Like, you can't, your problems won't be solved based on the behavior of others. And if the behavior of others is affecting you in such a way that you want to kill yourself, you got to reevaluate everything in the way that you're thinking. Yeah, the person's like, they're like, someone's going to kill themselves because he said their jokes were bad. Look. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way. On the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Artie. John Wallach is back. Lots going on, John, while you were gone. Judd Surratt got the Nesson job.
I read about that.
Yeah, you did. And now, of course, Ryan Johnston hoping to get the radio gig that is vacated from Judd Surratt, taking the television gig. So the first part of the puzzle has been put into place as Judd Surratt, as I had campaigned for, got the television job. Now Ryan Johnson should get the radio job. John, as you sit here, what is the word on the Celtics?
I have not heard anything. It's weird. Usually I hear something one way or another at this point of the summer, and we're almost done with it. So once we get into September and October, I have a pretty good idea what I'll be doing or what I won't be doing, but it's radio silence.
So
Haven't heard a thing.
what would you have heard, like, what did you hear last year? Hey, we'd like you to be available to fill in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The schedule is out or is coming out. You get a full idea, and then, a few weeks later, you're like, well, these are the games that you'll probably wind up doing. But usually by now I'll have heard something. And, we go back to what Sean said at the end of last season.
Yeah, his maniacal, narcissistic soliloquy at the end of the finals game. Yes, you would think that he would be leaving. But what's interesting about that, John, is that if Ryan gets what he deserves, and that is the radio job, they are doing an extensive search.
Mm-hmm.
But if he does get that job, then your replacement, Ryan would most likely have been your replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So he's off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grandy takes a job somewhere else or does what's right and leaves that position after he cried.
Mm-hmm.
You you get into that position, and then that chair is just open. And then, in all seriousness and in no joking, in not playing radio, we don't know who gets in that chair. Then there's a very real opening for the John Wallach chair. You see that this is not something that's of science fiction. This is something that could really happen. John's chair could be open, and the guy who would be the number one applicant to fill it already will have a job. So he can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have a very real search for the John Wallach chair.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Isaac, don't breathe down my neck. We both were urinating at the same time.
Hi.
So, I mean, soak in Wallach while you can, because there's a chance that Wallach will be gone. Because from my understanding, Wallach would be the lead, and this is not a lie either. To my understanding, Wallach would be the certainly top candidate to replace Grandy on the radio broadcast. Now, they would do another thing of applications and tapes and everything, and I'm sure someone could swoop in. But the way I'm to understand it, John would get that job, or he'd be the leading candidate for that job. So we might have a situation on our hands.
Matt McCarthy. Let's step right in.
Just like the Red Sox have stepped in a big pile of feces.
Stepped right in it.
They've stepped right in it after, Lord knows, maybe you could give up another ding-dong to the, it's odd that the Astros were in town because they were sending everything they hit to the moon.
Well said. Oh, that's been added. That's pretty good. I like that.
I didn't even mean to hit that one.
Is that making fun of me?
I should have done that. Say the thing about going to the gym again. You're listening to the radio.
I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do
Where are
it.
you going?
Playing into your trivial matters.
Where are you going?
I took Hardy. You think you'd be nicer to me? I took him golfing on Friday.
Oh, how'd
after
that
the show.
go? That's right. I couldn't be there. So how did that go?
It's very tiring. It's too much.
It was great. We had a delightful time. It was hot. It was humid.
Hummus.
It was very hummus out there.
Yeah.
It was windy. Windy, humid. We got rain down sideways a couple of times.
Yeah, it's a lot. For some reason, golf, they took like a little over 4 hours. Like golf after the show is very difficult for me. It's very hard for me. It's like my own Vietnam. It's very hard for me to get through.
But we had a nice time. We had fun.
Yeah, we had a quality time. And I was at the Red Sox game yesterday. I took my son to the Red Sox game, and I didn't know it was going to devolve into just a series of slurs.
Yeah.
But Jaron Duran was caught saying a gay slur to someone in the crowd, and then he released an apology. Now, were any of you watching the game on television?
I was not.
All right, because
I was watching, but I don't know if I was watching at that moment.
It says a hot mic picked him up. Was anyone listening to the game and they heard the hot mic? Lockhart, your dad watches every single Red Sox game from beginning to end. Did he catch the hot mic saying the gay slur? He did not. So only those that were highly attuned to the broadcast heard it.
When I'm watching baseball, I like to keep the volume down so it doesn't interfere with the audio from the Instagram reels that I'm also watching while the baseball game is plodding along.
You and I have very similar. I was at the game, and my son had gotten videos of himself at IMG pitching. So he was going through them, and he was really getting off on watching himself pitch. So he was kept showing them to me, and so I wanted to see Altuve hit because it's a Hall of Famer, and I'm like, okay, I've never seen him. I missed his first 2 at bats because I wasn't paying attention to the game. I really did. I was just completely. I missed his first at bat because I wasn't in my seat yet, but I missed his second at bat because. I was scrolling through all that stuff.
You missed a big James Paxton injury. Yes.
No, yeah. But it was good that happened in a way for me because, for me, of course, the injury was obviously God's way of saying, Fred, you get to your seat when you can. Not so much game will go on.
We'll slow down the game for you.
Yeah. And so the Globe did an article, Red Sox outfielder Jaron Duran apologizes after yelling homophobic slur at fan in Fenway Park stands. And obviously that's not a great thing, and if you're a homosexual or someone who's involved in that community, it can be very tough, and we have to live. And it would be nice if people were more tolerant. I certainly don't understand why people care if someone's gay or not, because it literally affects you in 0 ways. But I don't know why people are involved in so many aspects of other people's lives, especially strangers' lives, where they're so concerned about their behavior, a behavior that couldn't affect you less. Someone being gay couldn't affect you less. But I did go to the Globe, and I want to do this again. Just very quickly.
Okay.
It's called compassionate narcissists. These are people whose lives are missing any kind of real accomplishment, so they latch on to whoever happens to have been victimized. In this case, they are speaking, I would assume, for all gay people. Now, a gay person could go to Jaron Duran. Hey, I understand what you did. Here's why this is tough for me, because when people look up to you like you use terms like this, it leads to bullying, and things are tough enough for me as it is. And here are A, B, and C that has happened in my life. And Jaron Duran, unless he's a total psychopath, would go, oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I made a mistake. I won't use that word again. I realize the damage that it can cause. You can go that route and, tell someone why something's happening. Or you could go the road of just saying, isn't this player a hero to Red Sox Nation? Nice guy. Yeah, isn't Duran out of middle school yet? Yikes, needs to be suspended. None of the words in the apology are his, constructed by the Sox PR team. This guy is someone who's a little on the inside.
Sure.
He put 2 and 2 together and said the Sox have a PR team, and B, that they wrote the apology. I mean, this guy is no dope.
Thank God we have these free thinkers around.
Far from a sincere apology. Judging the apology is something to take it to another level of getting involved that you have no stake in the game, no piece of the game in. He should be ashamed of himself, but he's not. Again, because you've never met the man and you don't know anything about the situation, but you can, because you got it. And good for you sharing all this on the internet under the name Sagimore, hiding behind an alias. Good for you. This is doing the world a lot of good, you piece of garbage. You can't even put your name on your own thoughts, but not because he's done it before and he'll do it again. He's said gay slurs before and he'll do it again. He's lost all credibility to me. Well, I mean, Sagimore, how is he going to go about his business? Thought he was a good kid, too. Wonder who he supports for president.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Probably that
Waiting.
RFK Jr. fella who's
Waiting.
killing Cubs.
He didn't kill it. The car in front of him killed it. He just threw it in the back of his.
Yeah. The more I thought about it, the more that all seemed very likely.
He just threw in the back of his Suzuki Sidekick and then went falconing and then forgot about it until they were about to go to Ruth's Chris.
Doggy 30, who has a birdie from a game of the badminton as his avatar, a shuttlecock, that is his avatar.
Oh, nice.
Doggy 30 says, John Henry on Yawkey, quote, I'm still haunted by what went on a long time before we arrived, end quote. Well, now what, John? You have a real-life homophobe yelling slurs at the same fans who have made you a billionaire on your payroll.
Pretty sure he was a billionaire before he bought the Red Sox, but go ahead.
You going to be haunted again, or will you send Clear Coat Sam out? But that's a reference I don't get. That's a Howie Carr thing, probably. To clean up this mess and tell everyone how unacceptable it is as his fingers are crossed behind his back?
Maybe he's talking about Sam Kennedy, team president.
Why is he Clear Coat Sam?
I have no idea. Maybe
owns a car wash?
Perhaps.
You know, that True Coat, they put that on at the factory.
It's you, not you, it's me, says, not shocked. Being homophobic is quite common. Getting caught isn't. I've been on the thing.
What?
That's all it says.
I've been on
the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All right. I just I can't get enough of the Globe comments. Because it's really an insight into psychopaths. People that are getting some kind of joy from acting like they've been victimized in something they're not even associated with. And then they make grand statements about the character of everyone involved.
Right.
Who they don't know at all.
Including both of our fine presidential candidates. Bringing them into this.
I wonder who you're voting for.
Obvs.
Probably that felon.
Wait, is it obvious? I don't know.
If he's
Why
president,
do you know what you're implying
if he's
or
president, it is going to affect that person's life so much. The way that person's moving and shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, relying. I mean, how many tax breaks could one Globe commenter get? My goodness. I mean, that Globe. I mean, the abortion issue alone is going to cause at least arthritis, carpal tunnel with their hands from typing so much. How many people do you think are actually Globe commenters? Do you think there's like a tight pack of 100?
I think
they kind of run from story to story.
More than that, less than that.
And with different aliases, and how many stories a day do you think the average person pretends to be the victim of? Like how many, and has like a really big, strong opinion on? They just go through the paper and just write on it. Before the internet, did they get the paper, like the actual newspaper, and just write their thoughts in the margins and then leave them like on a deli desk for someone else to pick up the paper so they could read their thoughts?
I would bet there's probably a core of 30 at the most.
Less.
I was think what?
I thought there was a core of 30 commenters.
Yeah, and they just go to story and kind of comment on everything.
Yeah, like unique commenters might number in the thousands over the course of a year, but it's those same core 30 that are showing up from story to story.
And you're doing a lot of good too, because Lord knows that your baseless, stupid comments are getting everyone on the right side of the issue. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Boston's first F.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Preseason is going on, and there are situations going on in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb is not participating in practice. Dak Prescott's contract's coming up. Micah Parsons' contract is coming up. The Dallas Cowboys are not signing these guys. You save money, obviously, when you get deals done quicker. But players want to get to the open market, and things are a little bit different now. Apparently, Dallas used to have the business practice of signing guys to really long deals and saying, oh, look, it's a cost of living issue. There is no state tax in Texas. And that would be enough to keep guys around. And now guys are not falling for that. So Jerry Jones, Hardy, was talking the other day.
Yeah, in the pregame show before the Cowboys preseason game. And he had been talking about how there was no sense of urgency to get the CeeDee Lamb contract done. And CeeDee Lamb replied with an LOL on Twitter when he heard about this. So, yeah, the owner and GM being asked about it.
Are you saying there's a sense of urgency as you begin the preseason to get CD done?
No.
No? Why you say that?
I'm just I went to high school or I went to college. I don't know why I said it, but I'm just saying I don't know. I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done.
Because it's a long-standing tradition.
Pick any reason you want. I was at Nobu 2 days ago. Give that as a reason.
I was at Nobu 2 days ago. Give that as a reason.
Nobu in Atlantis? I went there. I don't get why they're laughing. What did I miss?
There's nothing funny there.
He said, I went to high school, I went to college. Is that he's saying just pick a reason?
I went to high school or I went to college. I don't know why I said it, but I'm just saying I don't know. I don't have a sense of urgency about getting it done.
Because it's a long-standing tradition.
Pick any reason you want. I was at Nobu 2 days ago. Give that as a reason.
Yes,
High school.
I went to high school. I went to college.
81-year-old good old boy loses train of thought.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
He doesn't sound. He sounds very much 81. He sounds like a Biden 81.
Yes.
You know?
That's actually he's heading in that direction.
Which is odd because there's people. I mean, have you seen Frankie Valli?
Oh, I saw that video. That's creepy.
So,
yes.
Okay, now there's what are we doing and there's what are we doing?
All right.
But
so have you ever gone, if you don't know what we're talking about with Frankie Valli, he's saying Grease. He was a big crooner in the 50s. And he was famous for, Sherry, like that super high singing. So it's like this unique voice. Frankie Valli had this very unique voice. And so, people complain that they'll go see bands and there's a backing track in that. Like I told you, I saw A Boogie with the Hoodie, and he was just playing his songs while he held a live mic and occasionally yelled into it.
Right.
But, you knew what you were getting. Well, if you go see Frankie Valli now, he's a man of 90. And when I tell you it looks like an animatronic figure.
Yeah.
He can stand, essentially. And they're playing Grease with his vocals, and he's just standing there blankly with a blank look on his face, just in front of a crowd of people.
It's not just
while
that.
the band smiles and backup singers smile and dance around him.
That's the thing that makes
like
it look
nothing
really
weird's
bad.
going on.
That makes it look really bad because you have 20-something dancers all around him, and he is not moving a muscle. The only thing that's moving are his lips, barely.
Oh, and John, that's a bold statement by you because his lips are often not moving.
It's if you go to Disney and you see like the Hall of Presidents and the animatronic.
Yeah, it's animatronic. It's like going to Showbiz Pizza.
Like.
Yeah, he looks like a guy. He'll occasionally robotically lift an arm and put the other arm down and then lift another arm up. But for the most part, and his face is of that. It's what I would refer to as a clean slate. There is not an ounce of expression on that face. It is just a man who has been almost literally propped up in front of a crowd. A man who I would contend does not know he's in front of a crowd a good portion of the time. And you'll look into the crowd, and there'll be some people that are like dancing and smiling, and you're thinking, this is awful. They're playing Grease while a 90-year-old man sits blankly having an Alzheimer's episode in front of you. And you're sitting there dancing like nothing's going on. And every one of his background dancers looks like the situation. They all have very situation. You know, my dad's very proud of me because of, don't talk about Frankie that way. You know, if you like said anything to like one of the singers, what the hell's wrong with you? Frankie Valli, he's a legend.
There was a review posted a few months ago that said the concern isn't the lip syncing. It's the concern that if something happened and he might fall, it would be life-threatening. That's what he looks like when he's on stage. Like if that man topples over, it would just kill him.
Oh, no, he's at the age, and this isn't a joke, it's actually quite serious. He's at an age where if he fell, like he's going to break a hip. And then when you break a hip, it's one of those things where they can't recover from it and they end up dying. Like that, yes, he is definitely in that stage of life. He's 90 years old.
Like I saw John Lee Hooker, like kind of toward the end, and he was in a chair and he had a guitar. He had a bottle of Jack Daniels next to him.
Wait, who's this?
John Lee Hooker.
Okay.
Right? And he was too old to be doing it, right? But at least he was still singing and mumbling through, you know, one bourbon, one scotch, one beer. And he would just kind of get done, you know, with the song. And he would just hold his finger up. And that's when the band knew, oh, we're going to stop the song now. And he'd just point down and they would end the song. So while it was odd and it wasn't, you know, something that I would say, oh, that was great. At least he was still performing. Valley's just up there. He doesn't even know where he is some of the time. You can tell. Watch the video.
There's so many differences. John Lee Hooker is singing the blues in a raspy voice for a boom, 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 boom. Like he's like so that makes it 100 times different anyway. B, the most important thing you said is he's performing. If you're in a chair, it doesn't matter. You can be in a wheelchair and be a performer.
Yeah,
I mean,
Phil
you can play
Collins.
music under any circumstances. Your ability to walk and dance is secondary. I mean, if you're going there to listen to music. And, yeah, bands like Nikki Sixx, apparently, his bass isn't even plugged in, which I think is ridiculous. How hard can it be to play bass on Motley Crue songs? I mean, he wrote the bass parts. I mean, they got to be easy as hell. Doom, 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 doom. This is a man who you have to see it for yourself. He is when his eyes are blank, I'm not being mean. I'm describing exactly what's going on. A blank cloudiness of his eyes. A man, if you saw your parents and they were looking like Frankie Valli looks while he's on stage, you'd be really concerned. You'd be like, oh no, something bad's happening. Like I tease my parents for being old. They're not even in the ballpark, not even in the universe where Frankie Valli's at. And he's a falsetto crooner. I mean, he can't even move the mic to his mouth.
Sex symbol.
Well, I
Teen
mean,
Idol.
that's never going to go away. Yeah, I mean, he still gets laid a lot. There's no question. Northeast Men's Health.
Hey.
Bob Sos. I bet you they could work with it. You'd have to get on top with Frankie Valli. I have a feeling. You know.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't think he'd be much for gyrating his hips. I think it would be more of he might be able to achieve an erection with proper medical training.
I'm only familiar with Gentle Missionary. You're going to have to draw me a schematic.
Hey, women's lib happened a long time ago, Hardy. Get with it. All right, we'll be back. Bob Socci will join us in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on It's an all-new season for the Patriots.
Wow.
And you'll hear it all right here.
Yes.
Your home of the pass. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Well, the Red Sox got swept out of their own building over the weekend by Houston. Yesterday it was 10-2, and the Sox have now lost 4 in a row, and they're 3 games out of a playoff spot. Alex Bregman and Yordan Alvarez hit back-to-back homers as part of a 5-run 5th inning, and the Astros are off and running. That's not even the worst news of the day either. Sox lefty James Paxton left after 5 pitches in the top of the 1st inning, and Alex Cora can't afford to lose another starter.
MRI tomorrow. We'll see where we at. He felt it right away, and so we'll see tomorrow.
Paxton said he felt a pop after the game. The Sox play the Texas Rangers tonight. Duran and the team also issued separate apologies after the game after microphones caught him using an anti-gay slur during a fan in the 6th inning, or towards a fan in the 6th inning. Also, the team has promoted the top 3 prospects in the organization: Marcelo Mayer, Roman Anthony, and Kyle Teal from AA Portland to AAA Worcester. Turning to the Patriots, they held a season ticket holder only practice in Foxborough yesterday. Jonathan Jones among the missing. Tight end Hunter Henry appeared to suffer a leg injury and did not finish. The team will practice again today at 11 a.m. and then hold a joint practice with Philadelphia tomorrow morning. And the 2024 Summer Olympics came to a close in Paris last night. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by MIFA, providing resources to help you plan for college. Info at mefa.org. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Here we go. Boom. I win. Kaboom. Yeah.
Hit somebody. Oh.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Watch us on YouTube. Just search Toucher and Hardy. John, do you have the core statement that you just played?
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me get it back up for you. Yeah.
I just need the first, 5 seconds of it.
All right, here we go.
MRI tomorrow.
Sounds like he says he's got hemorrhoid power. Play it again.
Okay, hang on a second. We reset it.
MRI tomorrow.
He's got a hemorrhoid tomorrow. That's what it sounds like. So maybe he can see into the future. Bob Socci is the voice of the New England Patriots on the 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network. He was shunned by the television people who thought they didn't even need a play-by-play person.
Jeez.
He said that we'll just let Spastic Zolak cut loose and do it with the McCourty twins.
On the plus side, he has less spastic radio broadcasts now.
And Bob joins us. He did it with Phil Perry.
That's
and Bob
right.
joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hi, Bob.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good to be with you again.
It's nice to be with you. It means that the weather's going to get cold and the days are going to get shorter. Bob, the annual voice of doom.
I know. We really don't want to rush the cold weather forward, Bob, as much as we like you.
I'm actually very much looking forward to football. The Sundays, it's good. Something scheduled that requires not a lot of moving is what I'm looking forward to on Sundays. Bob, as you do you guys did a great job, by the way. I heard you and Phil, and outstanding job as always. I thought Phil did a very good job. He seemed natural.
He did. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he was good. Chad Finn wrote an article about how terrible the TV broadcast was. But during that, I thought the TV broadcast was good. So I'll get that out of the way. But during it, he said that there is a spotter that works and that they'll put a card up with the person's name. And they said that you've only needed it once, that you are the best that this spotter has ever worked with, that you're the best play-by-play guy the spotter has ever worked with. Bob Socci, your thoughts?
I could have used him the other night because I misidentified a player on a touchdown call.
How dare you?
My apologies to Jaquay Jackson, confusing him for Kawan Baker initially.
Well,
but,
you can apologize to him yourself when you eat at TGI Fridays and he's busting the table in a month.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's probably a slight exaggeration, as anybody who's listened to the broadcast with a depth chart in front of them, if anybody has ever done that, would recognize. But I just got accustomed when I was calling games at the Naval Academy to not using a spotter because we would rely on college students from sports information departments wherever we went. And often, they were kids that were just weren't accustomed to doing that. So you have to train yourself to do it. You do it at high school games. You don't have a spotter. And in the broadcast booth, from day one, we haven't had a spotter. Mark Capello does help identify players and penalties and whatnot.
And their political affiliations.
I just sit on my own. Yeah, we try not to bring that into the booth.
Oh, yeah, well, good luck with Capello.
We don't see things very much alike.
Yeah. So Mark Capello is a big part of all the broadcasts that you hear for the Patriots. He gets all the sound, and he does a lot of stuff I don't even know. But Mark Capello is the kind of guy, and I think everyone can have someone like this in their lives that will be like, how about that Matt Johnson? And you'll be like, huh? Matt Johnson. And you'll be like, I don't know. And he'll be like, dumbass, the comptroller from Newton? and you'll be like, do you live in Newton? No. But you got that jackass comptroller. And you'll be like, I don't know. Well, who'd you vote for comptroller? God. I mean, it's going to hell in a handbasket, Fred. You're just sitting on your hands. You're a bigger part of the problem is Mark Johnson, the comptroller.
True or false, Bob?
Absolutely 100% true.
That maniac will yell at me about Newton politics, and I don't think he lives in Newton.
Well,
he lives with me. He lives out in Natick.
I would say that Capello is, one of those Globe commenters, but he doesn't read that liberal rag.
No. He's not giving 1 red cent to the New York Times people.
All true. Yep.
The New York Times, why does he just give it to the socialists?
You thought he had his hands full with Zolak. He's got that guy in between the two of them.
Can you imagine traveling with Zolak and Capello? I mean, Zolak's got a lot of wild ideas about politics, too. Believe me.
Anyway, football.
Everyone, they both slicing it right.
Thank you, Hardy.
But I'll tell you. All right, but it is interesting because just one last thing on calling the games. How long is I'm sure I could look it up, but how long is the roster a play-by-play guy gets for a preseason game for both teams? If you had to approximate how many names are on it.
They're 90, unless they cut a guy like the Patriots were at 89, but they just added a 90th guy. So yeah, there are 90 players. I try to identify the Panthers, and this week we'll try to identify all the Eagles. But yeah, they're still on the chart. You still have to try to learn them and put information on your chart about those players. So it's a lot, obviously, nearly twice as many as you'd have to account for during a regular season game.
Yeah, because I just always Gretchen Tanguay would do those 5 state championship games
Super
in a row
Bowls in Foxborough,
and I would always be like, "That's impossible." I'd give them a lot of credit because I'm like, "This is impossible. I don't know how you know who anyone is." I mean, my kid plays in games. I traveled with my kid's baseball team. I couldn't tell you. I probably know 3 kids' names, and I couldn't tell you the rest of them. All right, so it's all about me. So Bob Socci, the legend of Joe Milton. You've been watching this guy practice. You saw him. You had to know after he got into that game and he threw the touchdown pass and he had that scramble that people were going to call it and say he's the future of the team. I don't need you to necessarily talk about him, but what did you think of the quarterback performances the other night, and what are you looking forward to in this Eagles preseason game on Thursday?
Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully more of Drake May, especially. I was impressed with Joe Milton. I know Gerard Mayo yesterday said he certainly has to take care of the ball better in terms of exposing it. Now, he didn't have any problems carrying the ball the way he did, but Mayo was asked about Milton, what he can improve on, and he mentioned ball security. But I thought that when he was scrambling, his eyes were in the right place. Downfield, he was looking to throw initially before he ran, where so many young quarterbacks will immediately bail and leave the pocket. I thought, obviously, you could see the arm strength, which is what we witness on the practice field regularly. He did a pretty nice job overall in terms of the operation. It was one of the focal points going in. They did have some issues. They had to spend a timeout to avoid a penalty. They had other procedural errors during the course of the game as well for the other quarterbacks, including when Zappi was in there, and obviously when May was in there during one of his 7 snaps, there was a full start. I thought that overall, Joe Milton more than handled himself probably about as well as they could have imagined. I didn't expect to see the kind of polish with the shoulder shimmy and then the eye movement on the touchdown throw to not only sell the double move to the receiver who caught the pass, but also to lure that safety in the center of the field to the other side so that he could come back to the left and complete that ball to the wide open receiver with that safety having moved out of position. So I thought what we saw from Joe Milton honestly exceeded my expectations based on what we had seen in practice as a guy who had a really strong arm, great physical tools, but coming into the NFL had some questions about the overall quarterback play and the finer points of the position.
Yeah, and we end up talking about it because we barely saw Drake May. We mostly saw Bailey Zappi, who nobody expects to see much of this season. So if you're going to, break anything down and talk about something, it's probably going to end up being Joe Milton. And to your point, I was surprised too, Bob, not only to see the poise that he had, but also on a couple of the short throws, which, when I was at camp the one day, you saw him, struggling with a little bit, and it was a windy day, so everybody was struggling, but he wasn't overthrowing guys. He wasn't 8 feet out in front of him. He wasn't, throwing behind him. He looked pretty good playing with, let's call them the 3s and 4s. These weren't starters, but on both sides of the ball, I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah, Hardy, I think my opinion has changed on the 4 quarterbacks based on what we saw in them. Maybe this is silly on my part, but I was asked on the pregame show, about what do you do with Bailey Zappi. I still think that he is most likely not a Patriot by opening day, but I did wonder, if Milton isn't a guy ready for your roster, do you carry Zappi just as insurance and try to get Milton to the practice squad? I don't think you're going to be able to get Joe Milton through and try to sneak him onto the practice squad if he continues to play the way he did in that first game, just because of the potential ceiling that he has. So, I think that he more than improved his standing, not only in our eyes, but I would have to think, plays himself now into consideration as being a guy where he's got a real chance to make that 53-man roster on opening day.
Okay, that puts them in a real weird situation, though, because you don't want to be an injury away from Drake May having to come in behind that offensive line. And then, obviously, Milton can't be the backup because he can't play, and also because you can't have him going in before May, and for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that's right,
They
Fred.
need a veteran, right?
Maybe Zapp.
Yeah.
And that's why maybe I thought Zappi could stick around. But, there's also been a lot of people who suggested, look, if that happens and you go out to get a veteran quarterback who's played in the system, and there usually are, a number of those guys, especially
Hoyer.
Because of this offense. Yes, Brian Hoyer come out of the
No, seriously. He didn't retire. He didn't retire. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
he stopped playing.
Brian
He didn't retire. You're giving me
a year removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a lot of guys like that who've played in this Shanahan, Kubiak system, the West Coast offense, orchestrated the way I think Alex Van Pelt eventually wants to run it. So, he obviously cycled through quarterbacks when he was in Cleveland last year alone. So there's that possibility as well. Just if Brissett goes down in week 1 or week 2, too early to try to put May in that situation, then you can go out and get a veteran guy.
Are you comfortable with May going into a game, though, like week 1 or week 2 and just finishing the game? Like, say Brissett got hurt 4 plays in. Because that was what the Jets were trying to do with Aaron Rodgers and having Zach Wilson as the backup. And I can assure you, if they could go back in time, they would not have had Zach Wilson be the backup quarterback, because the idea was he was going to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two and learn, and then he was going to come in, but he was forced into action and he couldn't perform. Do you think they're comfortable for having Drake May come in for like 2/3 of a game and play, and then they could get a veteran in the week during the week?
Yeah, it's hard to say at this point, based on what we've seen, that they would be comfortable in that situation. They may not have any other choice if that presents itself, but considering how conservative they have been in terms of his development, obviously they didn't want to risk him, behind the second team offensive line, which really, to say second team, I'm not sure they really have a first team offensive line at this point. So certainly there's a lot of trepidation about putting him out there on Thursday night against Carolina, and that's why he was only out there for the one series to play behind that offensive line. So it's hard for me to say. In fact, I wouldn't say it that they would be comfortable in that situation. But if that's the way they go into the season, obviously you have no other choice. I mean, you think it back to the Chargers. Now, Justin Herbert, I think, was at a different place before the start of that season, his rookie year. But he gets thrust into the starting role right away because Tyrod Taylor takes an injection that's administered inappropriately, gets sent to the sideline before the season begins, and Herbert's out there right away.
Bob, this week's a little different for the Patriots. You got the joint practice with Philadelphia tomorrow, followed by the game on Sunday. I know it was one way under Bill Belichick, but factoring in what you guys are talking about with Drake May, how do you think Gerard Mayo is going to handle his quarterbacks tomorrow as opposed to Thursday?
Yeah, I think, John, we're going to see a lot of work for both of the quarterbacks against the Eagles. And they may split them up. They may use Brissett more in the joint practices and give May the bulk of the reps on Thursday in the game. But I really think both of those quarterbacks are going to be used extensively against the Eagles, both on Tuesday and on Thursday. I think that's part of the reason, too, for the way they handled May in week one, knowing they had this week coming up with Philadelphia to have that joint practice. Belichick used to always say the best thing about those joint practices is you can manage situations and you don't put your quarterback at risk of being hurt. Maybe, a misstep, he could get injured, but he's not being hit by the Eagles' pass rushers. You can do that, manage a lot of different situations, get a lot of quality work and quality reps, competitive reps in that joint practice. So I do think we'll see some of May on Tuesday, but I think there's a really good likelihood that we're going to see him on Thursday a lot more extensively than, which isn't saying a lot, than the 7 steps of the one series that we saw him last Thursday. But I would expect him to play even more than the other quarterbacks that we saw the other night, like Zappi and Milton, or at least a good portion of that first half.
All right. Well, listen, we look forward to hearing the call. We look forward to the joint practices and hearing everything that's going on with that. Bob Socci, voice of your Patriots on 98.5 The Sports Hub Patriots Radio Network. Thank you so much for the time, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. There you go. The great Bob Socci will be back with the award-winning email segment in just a moment.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and it is time for our world-famous email bit. You can email Wallach, who's back. For the time being, you can email him until maybe he gets that Celtics job, and then we'll lose Ryan and John, potentially, to greener pastures. And that would free up the third chair, and it would be very exciting.
Well, you and Matt McCarthy could argue baseball every day.
There's a duel happening in town. It's between John Henry and Common Sense.
You know who my choice is.
Say my name.
Don't get
Isaac.
Isaac's got to finish his education. I wouldn't let Isaac.
What
take
have you
the job.
What have you mentored him to do? What have you advised him to
I
do
said, Isaac,
on that education versus career?
I said, Isaac, you get that degree because they can't take it away from you. As soon as you get that degree, just put that in your back pocket and then go from there. Enrich your brain. Don't get in here too quick. You can't get to where I'm at right away, Isaac. You gotta need that degree as a foundation to build the tower of Fred on.
It's going to be hard to bring him back down. I mean, he's
Tower of Fred?
Yeah,
he's Icarus right now. I don't want him flying too close to the sun.
Yeah,
you know what?
Is that Icarus?
I said, yeah. You know the
Wax
Iron Maiden
wings
song
melted.
"Flight of Icarus." That's how everyone knows the story. The Flight of Icarus by the Iron Maiden. Fly on your way like an eagle. Fly, touch the sun.
I know it's like a Seinfeld bit and it's corny, but it's so true. Most or a good deal of what I know about like classical education and literature and things like that is from Bugs Bunny. The number of things that I know from old school Looney Tunes.
It's true, and it's like my daughter was with her mother in New York last weekend, and they saw a play based on like Romeo and Juliet. It's some musical adaptation, and I'm like, oh, they both kill themselves, right? And Zoe's like, I don't know the Shakespeare one. I've never read it, and I'm like, I've never read one word of Shakespeare, but I everything I know is just from. Yeah, they probably referenced it on Leave It to Beaver.
We were watching Jeopardy the other night, and I got the answer right. The answer was the Scarlet Pimpernel. And Marcy's like, how the hell did you know that? I said, because of Daffy Duck, the Scarlet Pumpernickel. Roger's got the Daffy Duck Scarlet Pumpernickel figurine outside his studio. I have no idea what it is, but there was enough in the clue to like, oh, Scarlet Pimpernel. That's got to be what it is.
I mean, how many sitcoms has the person been in the Romeo and Juliet, like in the Brady Bunch? Like, I mean, there's been a million. I mean, that's how I've consumed Shakespeare is through the Brady Bunch.
I had a teacher in college who, it was a Shakespeare class. I had to take it, was dreading it. Ended up being one of my favorite classes because for the most part, this guy would read Shakespeare aloud and then explain it afterward. But the way he read it and in his phrasing and his inflection, everybody understood it. If you're trying to read it from, a book or from a whatever you would call it, the
book.
No, it's
the prose.
If it's a play, it's not a script, but whatever it is, the thing. It doesn't make any sense trying to string the words together. But hearing someone speak it aloud who understands it already, like, oh, I get what you're saying.
I had this one teacher that was awesome. He would do Shakespeare. He would put on a Adidas jumpsuit, sunglasses, and a fake gold rope chain, and he would rap it.
He did.
And he would put it in like terms I could understand. See, Juliet was this funky, cool lady from around the way. And Romeo was a real fresh fella down in the hood. And the two of them like to get their freak on. You heard what I said? And I'd say, yeah, teach. Now you're talking to my language. And then he'd go, yeah, you're like finger man. You're the finger man, huh? You're like fingers, huh? Check it out. I got tricks too. 1, 2, 9 times 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 37, right? 36, rather. Finger man. Finger man. Yeah, you like that, huh? Finger man.
I'll snap your neck.
I'll snap your neck.
We were talking about that movie over the weekend.
Stand and deliver.
Stand and Deliver. Edward James Olmos.
Yes.
Jaime Escalante.
A lot of scarring from acting.
You feel good about watching that movie. It's a feel good story. Don't even so much as Wikipedia what happened, because they all got accused. They all got accused of cheating on that first test. Yeah, they cheated on the first test. Bunch of them did.
Oh.
That's right. They wanted to get into AP math. All right.
Now it doesn't diminish what he ended up doing in that school with a bunch of kids who learned calculus. That it's incredible. But
I never took calculus.
That old thing. It's like they didn't cheat. Actually, some of them did there, Mr. Escalante.
Did you understand the narrative of the gang guys, though? Like, I'm doing the fingerman thing. So if you don't know, Edward James Olmos plays this teacher. It's based on a true story. He's in East L.A. He's dealing with, like, Latino kids that are. It's a school that is poorly funded. And he has this class of kids that are go-getters that he teaches calculus, and they do really well on this test. But there is a character that is an L.A. gang member.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips plays. And then there's another gang member in class when he does the fingerman thing. But the way they're talking, like, I still don't understand what's going on in any of it. Like, I don't understand Lou Diamond Phillips, what he's saying.
Because you've never spent any time in the barrio.
I have not. I have to be honest with you. All my times in Los Angeles have been pretty much Brentwood, Hollywood.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. I didn't credit that out to Compton and things of that nature.
You didn't hang with me in Albuquerque, some of those neighborhoods. I understood it perfectly.
I can tell you I have had very little known interaction with Blood and Crips or any West Coast gangs.
MS-13?
No. I've never been involved in the drug trade or anything. I've never had the opportunity.
Sharks.
I stood up on a lot of tables at inner city schools and rapped in order to bring everyone together.
Yeah, sure.
Because we're all in the same gang.
Just remember, Fred, when we get into this another heat wave, just think cool.
Hey, finger man, you like fingers?
Think
you like to play tricks. You like to play tricks, huh? I got a trick. You want to check it out?
I'll snap your neck.
I'll snap your neck.
Whoa, it's like, where'd that come from? You were teaching me how to multiply by 5 and 9, and all of a sudden
No,
you're
it's
going
all
to snap my neck?
9 times 2. 1, 2. 81.
No, it's 9 times 9.
9 times 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 81. Check it out, finger man. I'll snap your neck.
Yeah.
I'll make you my bitch.
She's top student.
Stop student, come on. You can't see me.
That was pretty good, Mr. Escalante dance.
Thank you. Check it out. I've got a really hot wife for no reason. Hey, hot lady, you want the guy with all these scars from the acting that makes no money?
Fred.
He's got, but Edward James almost has a very interesting face.
But we don't know if Jaime Escalante did in real life.
I don't know either.
How many people did he just offend?
Oh, shut up, Wallach. Jesus Christ,
I'm
you have no
talking to
instincts.
him, not you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
shut up,
you're all right.
Wallach.
I'm talking to you.
Thank you, Fred.
You're fine.
You know how he did that in the...
He grinds the hell out of that kid's gears in that car, too. All for the metaphor of it's like, you don't see right or left. You only look straight ahead.
All right, very good. You can email John, J-O-N, John at 985thesportshub.com.
Oh, I got a very nice email, Fred.
Go ahead. You go if you want to do it.
Michael, good morning, Mr. Poole. I'm a frequent listener of the Sports Hub Morning Show with Mr. Toucher and you. I'm an avid frequent listener of the golf show, too. Wow, what a show this past Sunday morning. Had some difficulty believing that your guest, who described his blindness briefly, could have been shouting at you earlier last week. You showed such respect for the person. Mm-hmm. You were a stout man in the best and most moral sense of that word. And then he just goes, Fred, if this were you reading an email about you, you would read the entire thing. It was a very nice email
I would.
From Mike in Newton. Thank you very much, Mike. And, listen again on Sunday morning, 7 a.m., another Sports Hub Golf Club. And it's going to be great.
You are investing a lot of our airtime into promoting that Sunday morning show, and I don't think that could be better.
To push back on the horrible attacks that you have laid on the program.
All I said is I heard that you were talking about how there was some French guy doing things, and you were playing a clip of a French guy.
I must be mistaken. I must be thinking of someone else who has made sport of me and the Sport Hub Golf Club.
Yeah,
in not a very sporting sense. They were cheap shots, as I remember them, but it must have been Wallach.
It probably was. He's got that eagle tongue. Globe comment section. This is from John. My father is a Globe comment section guy. It's always your father, you know. It's never your mom. It's always your father.
Well, the minimum age is 82.
He's convinced that John Henry and Belichick have responded to him on the under other aliases. Well, I don't know if that's not true for a fact, but it does track that, they read this stuff and respond. It gets to them. It gets to them. I'm just lighting the wick and running away. Yeah. But my question is, if these people met Belichick, if they're crapping on him, or Duran for that matter, if they saw Jaron Duran and they were at a function and they went, "Oh, hey, have you missed my friend Jaron Duran?" And then you go, "Oh, it's Jaron Duran," and you shook his hand, would you say these things that you're commenting on the Globe to him when you're talking to him? Would you even think that? Or would you be so taken aback that you were in the presence with someone that you talk about without any knowledge of them that you would be shocked? It's interesting. Because they need to get the scoop out there to the real ones. So he's saying his father does that to do that. This is from Alexander. You got this too, Hardy. This is show observation. Wallach, whom everyone hates, is back, and it makes me want to kill myself because he's insufferable D-bag. Fred doesn't know what a pronoun is. For reference, there's 6 of them in this email. Alex at work. Are there 6 pronouns in there?
Everyone, I just love the confidence with which he says everyone hates Wallach, and also that he's an insufferable D-bag.
I like how he put D-bag, too. He didn't write it out.
You didn't spell it out?
Even though I could say it.
Yeah.
No, you can
border. I know.
It's not borderline. Yeah. I'm not going to because he wrote D-bag, but I would have read it.
The issue becomes when you repeat it a lot. That's when it...
I would counter that is something that exists, that you're just describing something that is existing. And by talking about it, it doesn't make it any less real. And who's it offensive to? Vagisil?
I don't know.
Who's offended by that? Well, I use that product, and I don't like it. And plus, you can't blinded by the light. The bird's back. This is from Thomas. Hey guys, late radio listener tuning in. Welcome back. H.
Welcome
no
back.
H.
No H.
No
Yes.
H.
Has our feathered friend brought back any avian-shaped Cape Cod hats or hoodies? Remember, no gift shop apparel equals horrible trip rule. Did you get anything from the Cape League or something?
I was very tempted to buy a Falmouth Commodores hat. That's where
What
I
hat do you have on today? St. Louis?
No, this is Fresno State. We've had this.
No, he
discussion
got that,
before.
and he got that on the Jersey Shore.
That's right.
The
got it
Fresno
at the
State
Jersey
hat
Shore.
bought in New Jersey.
That's right.
Why Fresno State?
I like the hat. I don't know.
What about the hat?
Look at that hat.
It looks like a Cardinal hat. It looks like St. Louis Cardinal, except for it just the S with the T. I got to call Fresno State out.
Okay. Yeah,
That
I like
no
the hat.
structured dad hat with the brim practically folded into a U with a indecipherable logo on top.
I'm not the
if you
flat
saw
brim.
that at Lids, Fred, you would run in and say, "Take all my money."
In fairness,
I need to have it.
John. In fairness to you, you can't win with Hardy when it comes to brims because he'll make fun of me for not curving the brim.
I
and
know.
He's making fun of
He
you
doesn't
for
like
curving
you
it
for
too
flat
much.
brims. He
I've
doesn't
got
like
the-
me for curved.
I've
He
got-
is oddly enough kind of in between. You see
Right.
that?
Right.
Kind of in between.
Too
so
much,
why is
not
your,
enough.
No, why is your brim perfect and mine not?
Because I know what type of hat looks good.
No,
This one,
you know what
not
kind
that
of
one.
golf hat looks
Not
good.
that
You don't
one.
know about any other hats because you wear golf hats 100% of the time.
I'll wear a cowboy hat that'll knock your socks off tomorrow.
I can't wait.
I will.
It is the big
In
anniversary.
Albuquerque, did you have one?
No. I didn't go to Imus's brother's store and buy boots and a hat.
Oh, yeah, you got to come down.
Gotta run salsa. Salsa's very important.
Everyone's calling me out.
You did see cowboy hats, though. There were guys who had just, they just wore cowboy hats all the time, and a lot of them were ranchers, and a lot of them weren't.
Yeah, I would assume that everyone wearing a cowboy hat out there is a real cowpoke.
But you can tell by the guy. You can tell by if they're driving like this is like late 90s, and there's still people driving international pickups, like international harvesters. Like, oh, that guy literally came in from the ranch today. He's in town to pick up some stuff. That is a farm truck.
I went into my parents' closet one day and I found, aside from all the gags and everything, I found a bunch of cowboy hats. And I said to my dad, I said, "Why do you have all these cowboy hats?" He said, "I used to ride in the rodeo in Montana." I've told you that before.
And did he?
Yeah. He didn't ride bulls, but he rode horses and did that kind of stuff. I told you when we went to Hilton Head and they had the big horse, and my dad got on it, and it was like he can't do anything, and he got on this horse and he started like dancing around, and like he could like do all this crap with the horse. Like you never forget. So like this was only like 2 years ago. Like he was on a horse like dancing around with it.
Dressage.
No, not really the dressage. I mean, if he needed a cool beat. If you played Rhythm of the Night by El DeBarge, he would have been able to get the thing to dance because that was his song. No, my dad did ride in a rodeo. His father's father, his grandfather, paternal grandfather, had a ranch in Montana. Not one of these rich guy ranches either. He was a rancher. His father, not a nice man. Apparently, my grandfather, who died of a stroke before I was born, not a nice man. Apparently, quite distasteful. Left the earth too soon. Oh, now the horse is going to start dancing. It's like when you say, "Siri, play El DeBarge." I loved this song when I was a kid. I used to take Top 40 show so I could get that song. I thought that song was the best. All right, we'll be right back with a little something called The Stack. back. The Stack is brought to you by Best Ford in Nashua. Looking for great deals on new Fords? Go to the Best first. Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestford.com. And know that we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. I got my back waxed, and now and I did yoga yesterday. It was very hot and sweaty, and now it's a whole situation back there. It's very itchy. I have to put my back against the wall and rub.
Yeah, I saw you doing that, Zoe. I saw you.
Which one of you has the longest fingernails?
Rubbing up against it like a bear.
Nicholas, let me see your fingernails. Maybe you come in here and give Daddy a back rub.
Mine are there's a clipped. There's no nails there. By the way, I watched The Instigators over the weekend, Fred. That Casey Affleck. He's got them nails chewed down to the nub.
The Instigators. No, that's supposed to. That's in the theaters.
No, we watched it on Apple TV.
Okay, and so that is a movie that the humor comes from them being in Boston.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay. I wasn't being a smartass. I thought that's actually was like. I'm being dead serious. I thought one of the way I had read it, one of the characters of the film is Boston. Like it's supposed to be. That's why it's funny.
So I don't know where I'm going to place this. A week from now, a year from now, but on the heels of sitting through that M. Night Shyamalan garbage pile, which I cannot believe has like 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. The reviewers must be that they must have been lobotomized, because I don't know how you sit through that movie and walk out doing anything but laughing at how horrible it is.
What's the name of the movie?
Trap. M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
You've seen the trailer where the father takes the girl to the concert.
You saw Kendra's Instagram with the guy sent her a picture. It's a trap.
It's a thirst trap.
Not that so. Well, that too.
Yeah.
But it was a literal trap he put himself in.
Oh yeah, that type of a trap. No, this one, the trailer is the guy takes the daughter to the concert and he walks up to a concession worker, says, what are all these cops doing here? And he says, that serial killer, the butcher? Well, they think he's here tonight and they're going to trap him. And then the father's face goes stark white and he thinks, oh, they're here to catch me. Like, so that's the trailer. Mm-hmm. Guess what? That's the movie. It's everything laid out in the trailer is in the movie, and it's so ridiculous and he wants you to believe all this crap is happening. Like the FBI profiler, for some reason, is this old British woman who's on the walkie-talkie to all these cops at once. Remember, our unsub is going to be very confident in a very
why don't they?
If
he's in a crowd, why don't they just have someone tackle him and arrest him?
Because they don't know what he looks like, but they find a receipt or something, whatever. There's a minor twist at the end. Please, if you hate me, you think I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm talking about. Trust me on this one thing. Do not bother. Go see anything else. So what we ended up doing a couple nights later is we watched The Instigators. And by comparison, The Instigators is Goodfellas compared to Trap. I don't know if it's really that good, but it's a perfectly acceptable way to spend an hour and 45 minutes. Whereas Trap left me feeling angry.
Trapped.
Angry. Not trapped in a theater. Did you guys know Tyrese Halliburton was on the Olympic team?
Yes.
I didn't know. Yes. I literally didn't know until I saw the tweet. And apparently he made fun of himself. He tweeted out a photo of him with his gold medal. And the caption was, when you ain't doing none on the group project and still get an A.
Yep. Good for him.
That's so poor English. When you didn't participate in the group project but still received an A.
Yeah, that would have. You should proofread for him from now on.
He'll be a starter in 4 years, though.
So he was never in any rotation, and
he
he played like garbage minutes, I guess. I didn't even know.
The best thing about the U.S. Olympic team, who I was rooting against, but I wasn't watching the games, is that I like that Steph Curry and that LeBron were the guys that willed them to win. Mm-hmm. That I like that Steph Curry got that, and so good. That's good. But this team in 4 years is, on paper, not going to be by any means a sure thing.
Oh God, no. No, I'm looking at I was looking at the roster same as you this morning. I mean, LeBron's not coming back. Curry's not coming back. Durant is a coin
be
flip
39,
at best
yeah.
at 39. I mean, who knows? Someone might piss him off on social media, and he might decide not to go. But if you take those three away from this team, as it was this year,
they wouldn't have won.
They wouldn't have won.
They wouldn't have won without
They
them.
would have lost at least once in the preliminary round, and probably wouldn't have made it by the semifinals.
They probably wouldn't have. Yeah, they probably wouldn't have beat Jokic's team.
Yeah, Serbia would have beaten them.
Yeah, Serbia. They probably wouldn't have beat Serbia. So I guess Tatum, they're saying, didn't fit well on this team because when he was in, he looked lost. Again, I didn't watch it. I'm just reporting what he said.
I made this comparison earlier. Anthony Edwards gets in. He's all over the place. He's taking shots. He's running the floor. He looks comfortable. Tatum gets out there. You can almost see him thinking out there. It's as if he was trying to defer to everybody else. It was weird.
That's why you need alphas like Derek White.
Right.
Maybe they won't waste roster spots next year to quote unquote make a great team.
I know.
Because the team needed to be so great that they needed LeBron and Steph Curry. They needed Curry to make fall away threes with hands in his face, falling into his right. Threes with threes.
Double,
in his
triple
face.
team from 42 feet away.
Yeah, they needed him to take 42-foot shots because they needed guys that would defer. Maybe next time you build a team with the best players on it.
I'm getting tweets from a guy named Bryn in Georgia who said, I enjoyed Trap. I said, not possible. He said, it is possible. I said, have you ever seen any other movies? He said, I see plenty of movies. I enjoyed Trap. I don't know what to tell you. It's just like this far-fetched premise that begins with them going to a concert in the daylight hours and the concert ends while it's still daylight. I can't believe anything else in the movie when you can't even get that right.
They were just going to see Jackal and leave. All right, that'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day.